YouTube, it's Brian Phillips coming to you from a waterway. It's frozen, it's amazing, with an all new, amazing, super expensive helicopter from Sterling Kit. This thing is showpiece quality, metal build. There's plastic on there, and then a few other spots. But I would say, generically speaking, this is an all metal helicopter, which is bizarre. 3-bladed, look at the swash, look at the mechanism. This thing is amazing. We've got basically a Flywing flight controller. So this thing is a full on GPS heli drone. A little bit different transmitter than we've seen, but we're gonna start flying from the middle of our pond because it's cool. And if I break through, don't point and laugh. Now, first things first, here, let's just get down here and we'll start it up next to this gigantic pressure ridge.
Oh goodness, holy cow. Well, while you're setting it down,
Camera crew,
you can't see how thick it is.
Show the people. I'm sticking it in.
Okay. Oh,
right here.
Really slippery.
Guys, you got to plug these in, and there's no easy way to do it, so you just do it. Then we're going to watch that light on top. We've got this on first. Oh, there's LEDs here. Once that goes, now we've got our yellow light, okay? Now remember, since this is a GPS heli drone, water's not a big issue because you don't have that downward facing sensor, okay? So what do we call that sensor?
Optical flow sensor.
There you go. Thank you, China. So, as you can see, this thing comes as a ready-to-fly package. The battery was the hardest thing to get in and out. We figured out that little red tray comes out if you just pull a little bit on the carbon fiber sidewalls, and it just pops right out. But we're just gonna get up, and we're gonna see if we don't fall. Look at that thing, yellow flashing. It's gonna take a minute. I'm gonna actually move the blade out of the way, and you can see that we have a belt-driven tail. So cool. Guys, these things are so easy to fly. I'm gonna start by being in stop, GPS, which is the center switch position, okay? And then there's a home function. Oh, see, we have a green light. Okay, so now we're just gonna clear back here. We'll stand on the snow so we got a little bit more traction, or maybe even the dock. And check this out, guys. So the way you start this thing, sticks down and out in stop.
And then you have to hold till it flashes.
1,
Can we see it flash?
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's flashing.
Then run.
Pull it to run. Now I'm going to home. Nope, I'm going to GPS. Let it spool up. This is when you don't want to lose any battles with flying parts, so give yourself a little bit of room. Make sure that you've got a little bit of yaw authority. We don't have anything just quite yet.
You might have to do 6 down and out again. The directions were unclear.
Up. There it is. Guys, look at this. It's so cool. All right, I'm going to yaw it first. Oh my goodness, that thing is rock solid. By the way, it is not dead calm in this corridor. It's cold.
Yeah.
And so just to give you an idea, man, that thing looks so sweet. Yes. Rocking it. Man, that thing is gorgeous.
I did not notice those lights at all last night.
I didn't either. I didn't even know they existed. This is so dang cool, guys. These helicopters are getting amazing, okay? Now, I gotta say also, the Flywing flight controller has proven to just be insanely good. And just look how awesome this thing is holding. Normally over water, the ground effect changes a little bit, but because we're frozen, obviously it's gonna act like regular ground. But man, look at it passing through the light. You've got those clear canopy. It is so cool. Oh, yes. When you let go of the stick, it just rock solid holds its position. And then when you get at it with your stick positions, you can make it do exactly what you want to do. And I can tell you this, because these Flywing controllers allow you to shut off the flight controller, you can actually fly them like a regular helicopter. And they also have one key inverted flight, they call it, something like that, or one switch inverted flight. I'm gonna tell you this, I don't even really care about that feature. It is quite cool because the controls stay the same direction as though you were flying upright. Look at this, guys. This is getting kicked around in the wind. Our ears are about to freeze off of our bodies. Single digit temperatures, heavy winds, and the thing is doing good. Now, admittedly, guys, I'm not even looking at the helicopter right now. I'm just walking, about to trip over this canoe right here, okay? But man, look at that thing right in the sun. It's so dang cool. All right, I'm gonna bring it down so you can actually see it too. Woo! Oh, that came in kind of handy that we had spring-loaded landing gear. Why? I don't know. I don't know if that's on the real one or what. Now I press up and it takes off. Let's go ahead and go down here. Guys, we love flying for you here on Brian Phillips RC, and I can say this unequivocally, I have wanted helicopters like this for my whole life. You don't need to be an expert pilot, and that's part of the reason why I love these things. I absolutely love them. Should we show them Long Island?
Sure.
Okay, so look guys, we got Long Island here. We're just gonna fly by it. Now obviously, it is windy. Like you can't tell, but this grass tells the tale, okay? Yeah. I'm a little nervous it's gonna auto land on me, but I don't think it will. Let's chop some grass. That's a big reed, by the way. I don't wanna do it with the tail rotor. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do it, guys. That's why you don't wanna touch your fingers with them. But man, this thing is loud, it's got presence, it looks absolutely phenomenal, and it's easy to fly in the wind, which is one of the reasons why I love airplanes, is I can fly them, but then helicopters, you can fly them in the wind too. And so for me, it's especially fantastic because you get a lot of days where there's heavy wind and it just makes for a miserable flying experience. But when you're dealing with helicopters, man, that thing sticks so nice. Beautiful, okay? And then all you have to do, guys, look at this. Just push up on the stick and it just does exactly what you want. Let's see if we can land on that little tiny helipad.
Okay.
Okay, this is obviously a very small helipad. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go over here and I'll actually fly around and point towards you, camera crew.
All right.
Just because then I can get the wind in my face. This is a very small helipad for a big heli. Let's see if we can do it. Sometimes these GPS heli drones, they don't give you that really tight, refined feel that you expect. Oh man, big gust of winds, guys. Big gust of wind. Got a little oscillation, we'll see if we can do it. Down you go, baby, that is so cool. I don't know if you remember this, but I'm gonna go to stop. Okay, remember, in an emergency situation, you can go to stop at any time, okay? They don't suggest going to stop under normal circumstances while flying because your helicopter will fall out of the sky, okay? So don't do that. Be very careful. And I just want to point out something. That switch is right next to this switch, and that's the switch that takes you home. By the way, you cold, camera crew?
It's a little chilly.
I am cold too. By the way, ours came 4S, 4,000 milliamp, 30C pack, came with the helicopter, came with the charger, but we had a global power supply. I think a Chinese or like an Asian style. It was the kind that's like vertical and looks like a Y, so doesn't plug into ours, but we can use the plug from our S2200, and there's a good chance you guys might have adapters or just another cable you can use. We'll show you all that at the end of this video for the Unbox build radio setup part. We are gonna keep flying though, so real quick, I'm not sure if we can come out of stop, but let's come over here just to be on the safe, and let's give them a really nice close shot of this. Look at how dang gorgeous that is. And this is one of my favorite features, guys, a tail guard that actually works, okay? It's made of metal, it's strong, it's delectable. Look at this, guys, watch this. I forgot to get my my coat, so I'm gonna open the door and get in there. The sticks, both the cyclic and the collective on both sides for both pilots, it's so cool. And there's retro pedals on the ground, so super cool, super detailed. Okay, back to run. I'm guessing we'll have to go ahead and arm, or maybe we'll have to do that from stop. 2, 3, yep, there it goes flashing. Now we're gonna go to run, let it spool up. Now just give it a little bit of, there you go. Remember, that ground is hard because it's frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get up as soon as I can. Okay, up we go. There we go. Beautiful.
Wow.
It did kind of jump on me because I pushed harder on the stick, and you see those flashing lights really do help with the presence.
It sounds different than the other ones.
It really does because it's got a different type of mechanism, and that, oh, it's going home, guys.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's going home. Let's see if it goes far enough out. Oh, look at the trees. Is it gonna hit the trees, guys?
Well, let's see, we took off from right here, so is it gonna try and come back down right here?
I'm gonna cancel by going to GPS, go to home, then go to GPS, and guess what? Now I'm in control, guys. There it is. I'm back in control, still in GPS mode, but I gotta say, what an absolute daydream to fly. Short flight time, I must say, But can you expect any more when it's like nothing degrees out?
Yeah, I think it was 7.
Oh, by the way, what is that in the background you see? Oh, it's the building pad for the full scale. What? That's so crazy. So guys, all I got to say is if you're worried about your batteries dying, you can actually change the low voltage auto land feature. You can also cancel out of it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just show you another beautiful, gorgeous landing. And we're gonna do it out. You wanna do it on the ice again?
On the ice, yeah.
Okay, so this is how hard it is to land, guys. I just wanna show you this. This, by the way, this is not the way it is to land real helicopters, okay? This GPS heli drone, watch this, there. That's how hard it is. You don't have to be an expert. That's a huge factor. Now, it's really cold, so I'm not gonna take marks off of this helicopter because that battery is brand new and it's really cold. Brand new, usually do okay, but it is extremely cold. We're probably talking like single digit, maybe 1.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a headwind. This is a heavier helicopter than the other ones we've flown, okay? But I gotta say, this thing is probably the nicest helicopter we have right now, but it is still a GPS heli drone. For some of you, that's problematic, okay? I am not gonna complain about a GPS heli drone. Holy cow, look at that. That ice is all puffed up around everything. So guys, here on Brian Phillips RC, we do big, obnoxious, crazy things for the sake of RC. And one of them is exactly where you're standing. That would be our pond that we just put in. This is part of our aerodrome project. Why, camera crew? So we can build a giant dam runway, which is gonna go right there. As you can see, it's gonna be awesome. And we love that you guys are here to support us. And the best way you can do it is when you see something amazing like this helicopter or similar, buy it from the links and you'll help support us with small commissions that they send on your behalf in support of Brian Phillips RC. Now, that being said, if you just can't stomach the price of this, we get it, it's expensive. It's not gonna be for everybody, we know that. But everybody is saying that the other ones are expensive. Yeah, this one's twice as much, okay?
Almost.
For good reason. It's an amazing, high quality, very real feeling helicopter. It looks the part, it does the part, it flies super easy. You do not need to be an expert pilot, but you see that 3D setting there? I wanted to show it, but we had such a short flight time compared to what we had on previous options. That comes back full circle here, guys. Twice the price, a fifth the flight time. Granted, it wasn't this cold for the other helis.
No.
And so I don't want to take marks where marks aren't taken, you know, where it's not fair. This helicopter is big, but it's not much bigger. 3-bladed rotor is going to take up more power to fly, okay? It just is, because you've got a bigger thing that's spinning, okay? A little bit more inertia, but a lot more inrush current to start it. Also, this has got a tail rudder, or not a tail rudder, but it's got
the
belt-driven tail feathers. So when you have a real servo driving the position of your blades, you can impact change faster. So this thing is going to be more capable of 3D performance, even though the other, like the BO-105 and the Huey and the Bell 206, my favorite helicopters still, okay? They have the most butt ugly tails that you've ever seen. And it's like, honestly, we're trying to work with them to come up with another option. This thing has the tail that I want, and I want that belt-driven system. Yes, it makes it more complicated. Yes, it probably makes it more expensive. But then if you ever do real 3D stuff with the helicopter, you need that instantaneous response. A brushless motor just can't keep up with the crazy things that people are doing today. Flying helicopters like this, I don't even know how they do it. I've stood next to them, 700 sizes, like a meter from my face. It's scary. You know, I'm just like, ouch my balls the whole time. But, you know, when you have some of the world's best pilots doing it right in front of you, how do you say no? So I'm not one of them. That's the key, guys. This is so gorgeous. It does all the things you want it to do except for being cheap, okay? So if you can get over that one detail, which is a big detail, you will love this thing. It is a beautiful, beautiful helicopter. And then, by the way, look at the fuel tanks. No, the lid doesn't open, I tried. And then look at the suspension. You remember when this thing came down, I put it down just a little bit too close to the ice?
Yep.
And it just crashed in and all the people bounced in their seats. I'm gonna tell you this, 0 damage, 0 concern. Also, there's O-rings that are rubber on the skids. Those things worked really good. Because this is a heavier helicopter, it sits down and stays put. That's something we haven't seen before on the other competitive offerings, okay? So now, without further ado, because it's so cold, I'm probably gonna wrap this up. I wanna do more. I didn't even get a chance to show you flying in a 0, flying in an 8, and flying normal. We were in normal the whole time, but it will, the ice just popped under us. That was cool.
It was
a little disconcerting.
disconcerting.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you go to 0, it's gonna fly in a circle automatically. You can lay the controller down, you can watch it. When you go to 8, it's gonna do figure 8s, and it's gonna come back to wherever, and that's perfect. And then if you switch this to home, it's gonna go to home, okay? So all the things, it does all those things. That's why we call this a GPS heli drone, okay? You can get this in different package levels, but ours came as a ready to fly. Now, I'm not sure if our distributors are offering it right now, but there are other finish levels. So if you don't want the fully autonomous GPS heli drone, you can take this off. You can see the radio link receiver right there, and you can take that out and you can put your own flight controller in, and there's no reason you can't use a standard flight controller on this, but you have to fully set it up, okay? So if you want to take your Spectrum transmitter and set it up from scratch, you can do it, which is super cool. We love the flexibility of doing that, but that's also true for a lot of other helis. The catch is brushless tail rotor.
Right.
You need to have a servo for most of them, okay? So all that being said, awesome product, absolutely gorgeous. I'm gonna unplug this from the battery real quick. I'm gonna show you how I do it. Make sure it's in stop, which it is. And then I'm gonna flip it carefully. I'm gonna go to my plug and just undo it, okay? I just also want to point out something. Did you see my XT60 was like partially pulled out?
It seemed really easy to unplug.
Well, it was about 3/4 of the way plugged in still, so it wasn't out. But just remember, guys, a couple of things about helis you might not be aware if you're not a heli person. This servo will get hot, okay? So don't get burned on it. Like seriously, I can feel it through my double gloves, and it's like really cold out. So, and then also there's this pin here you can pull, and then this shaft comes out, but you have to basically open this up like that to pop the whole door out to get your battery out. Otherwise, it's a little bit too fat to slide out. The thing that's nice about that, even though it annoyed the heck out of us in our Unbox build radio setup, is that when it's like that, you don't have to worry about that thing slopping around. And yes, you can fit a 4,000 milliamp hour 4S smart pack in that very hole, which is very nice. But just keep in mind, that lead needs to be long enough to reach. So you might have to use an adapter to get down to the plug. It is not super sparing in space. But guys, look at the floorboards inside of the helicopter. Guys, it is gorgeous. Look at that. Look at the stick. Look at the pedals. Look at the collective in the middle. That shaft that comes up looks like an e-brake. We've got instruments. Awesome. The worst part of this is that stupid label right there. Get that off of my door. And then why is this on at an angle? Is that because it flies like that? I don't know. So what do we call this thing in real world?
It's a Schweizer 300C.
Yep, it's a Schweizer. So someday, if I play my cards right, I'm gonna have a real Schweizer. But I don't know if a Schweizer is ever in the cards for us. Real helicopters are kind of expensive to run, but you know what? If this is the realest you're ever gonna get, I'll tell you what, man, it is something else. Very good, very tame. I gotta admit, it feels more tame than some of the other offerings that we've had in similar circumstances. The camera crew and I are getting nervous because the ice is popping.
Even though it's like 10 inches thick.
Yeah, it's totally safe. But check this out, guys. Everything you need in the box except for the 475 AA batteries. But yes, you can run this on your own JST equipped battery. You don't have to use the 8 AA's. You can use a JST from 7.4 to 18 volts, I think is what they were saying. So whatever that is it popping more?
Yeah.
It's because it's cold, guys.
Yeah.
So if you've never walked out on ice in the middle of winter, it's something else. It's really cool, especially when it's the first time on your own pond. We've actually skated as a family. It was super cool. We got a couple of stills, but it was too dark to take a video. I really wanted to share it. So our apologies for not catching that. We'll catch the next one if we can. We just want a heartfelt thanks to all of you for watching these amazing RC reviews. And the stuff that we've done on this channel over the years is getting progressively better and better. This guy's just pissed off. It's hilarious. And so we're so glad to have you. And as we get ready to build the damn gift shop, which is over here marked out roughly by those the mini bales, which by the way, we do harvest those from our own property here because we are on farm ground, 2 farms actually. We just want you guys to be able to share this cool experience with us. I don't know if you caught it. If you noticed the thumbnail the other day, we superimposed a building to give you guys an idea of what it might look like. And we're hoping to get that done in spring. So that's why that building pad is built, because we got to start going through permitting and all that terrible, terrible nonsense. It's going to be a horrible experience. It's going to be very expensive, but we really appreciate you guys helping us make all this really happen. A real aerodrome in real time and space. It's amazing. We can't thank you enough for all the help you've given us over the years. And at the end of the day, these helicopters, airplanes, quads, VTOLs, and my love for them is very real. And we want you guys to experience it with us. So come alongside us on Brian Phillips RC. Check out brianphillipsrc.com if you want to see all the action right there. You don't have to wait for the next release. There's already thousands of videos right there. And it's all sorted by type, brand that we worked with or affiliate we worked with, so that you don't have to know everything about what we've done in the past. You'll have a thumbnail, you can buy right there, or you can watch the videos and it'll take you to the playlist, okay? So if you want to stay on YouTube and you don't want to navigate away, that's fine. Just go to the playlist tab. When you click on my face, you'll see playlists. Go there, search, you'll be amazed. There's literally hundreds of playlists, and each of them usually means one product like this, okay? But there's also build videos, like when we built our house, and build videos that we're working on for the pond and things like that. So we're really excited to share all these amazing experiences. Or when we built the bridge that crosses this little creek that feeds the pond. It's been an amazing experience. More than I wanted to spend in 3 lifetimes, but it's been amazing. And you guys are helping make it happen, so thanks. All right, that's all we got for you because my hands are about to fall off. Come back for more here on Brian Phillips RC. We appreciate you, we want you back, and we're gonna help get you in the air, out of the chair, in the air. We're gonna deliver full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. And so this thing is imperfect, but it's pretty dang good. All right, come back for more. YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We have a brand new, amazing, delicious box to open right here. This is a huge box. It's kind of huge.
It's kind of huge.
Gigantic. We're gonna open it right now before your very eyes. You may have been able to tell from the thumbnail or the title, but I know very little about this product, and I'm super excited to learn along with you because it looks awesome. What is it? Of course, it's the Schweizer, or whatever this thing is.
Yes.
The Jacks.
No.
How do you say that?
They just do letters.
JCZK.
Really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay, so the 300C guys instruction manual, here we go. We're gonna see how this goes. I'm super excited to be doing this helicopter. There is a warn. Not a warning, just a warn.
Just one warn.
We're not doing it like verb style. It's just like warn, like noun.
Do you need to tell you what your warn is?
What is my warn?
The product has been tested and flown before shipment. Please do not change the parameters in the remote control. Please refer to the instruction manual before flying. If you have any questions, please contact the store customer service for consultation. Thank you.
Would you please read that?
Whoa, that's even better than
It's like a consonant explosion.
Okay, China, we have these things called vowels. There's only 5 of them, so I know you have to pick carefully, but you need a couple.
Sterling kit, okay? That's what it says, okay? So this is the 300C is the model number, the Chinese model number of the helicopter. Oh, I need to be kind of careful though because it's wanting to slip out kind of funny. I'm gonna flip this upside down carefully.
Oh, okay.
Because it feels like the lid's coming off.
Oh,
and so I just want to make sure it's not damaged in the openage.
In the openage.
So this is our Unbox build radio setup. We do this for airplanes and helicopters alike. And usually with helicopters, kind of weird, that lid is like barely held down, so be careful how you open this. I'm just gonna carefully flip this because I do not want this thing to fall out.
It is just like a 2-piece.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
a
not
2-piece.
secured or anything, isn't it?
I promise I'll never have one of those on this channel. Sterling
That
kit.
took me way too long.
Oh yes, that thing is gorgeous looking. Oh wow, that is so nice. Touch it.
That is like...
Touch it. It's metal. That is so stinking
That's...
sweet. Look at this. Spring-loaded.
I hope you got a new camera crew for this.
Wow. What? Are you like
That's
concerned?
like scary looking.
Okay, so it comes with a radio link transmitter, spring-loaded left stick and right stick. Looks like we have a stop run 3D GPS and home. I'm hoping that's here. That's spring-loaded. What? There's sliders on it? That's crazy. There's sliders, guys.
Yeah,
so this is a pretty legit transmitter, it looks like. FHSS DSSS from Radio Link, it looks like. So that's whatever their protocol is, okay? So turn this thing on, and it would normally turn on, except I think they probably have a battery that's not installed maybe yet. That would be because you have to put 4,000 batteries in here. Holy cow. Yeah, you have to use...
Is that 8?
You have to use, no, 1.5 volts UM3X8.
Oh, good.
Whatever
It's a weird battery.
No, it's just double A's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 batteries. Good lordy lord.
We're gonna go broke.
So this is supposedly you're ready to fly, okay? No, well, this is an expensive helicopter.
Yes, it is.
So if you guys are watching this and you're thinking, I need something entry level, maybe don't enter here unless money is not an object for you, because this is fairly expensive setup. But I do have to say it looks to be extremely nice, and that's part of the reason why I'm like really excited to be doing it. Obviously, you guys know I have a special place in my heart for helicopters, and yet I still kind of suck as a helicopter pilot. So, all right, so this is an IMAX B6 AC dual power. So this is like your standard sort of balance charger here. So it goes, it looks like it does 2 through 6 cells. So you just put in your balance lead here, and then you have your discharge lead here, which is going to come out to some sort of like a banana jack adapter and the different buttons to set it. This is like what we would have used back when we started in the hobby.
Yeah.
And it's almost exactly, in fact, I had something super similar to this years ago. There's also some more plugs right here in this container. And so like I was saying earlier, we always do our unbox build radio setup on these products just to give you guys an idea of kind of what you're going to expect in the package. We know that the vast majority of you are just watching the flights. You're kind of making your decisions based on our assessments there. But in this case, I just want you guys to understand that this is a pretty expensive helicopter. If there's something weird about it, we want you to know it, because before you go into a project like this, look at this. What the heck is that thing? Some sort of like a programming cable? That's weird. And then it looks like it's got a little bit of double-sided tape here. That's always interesting. And then it looks like a USB-A to USB-C. Okay, so that's going to be for something else, I'm sure. And then it looks like just a cable mount of sorts. I really don't understand why we need that. Oh, that would normally, I don't know if that goes together. And then look, you can label your switches if you decide to change them. Looks like stop, run. That is nice, except this is a ready to fly product. I want it to be ready to fly.
Right.
As it can be. And I understand there are going to be some, there's going to be some exceptions to that. Excuse me. But when you're dealing with a helicopter of this magnitude and size and scale, you know, given that I'm maybe not a super proficient heli pilot, I want to make sure that I'm going to be safe. And you want to do the same thing, because when you get helicopter blades this big, they can whack you in the head. So don't do that thing. Did you ever figure out how to read that?
No.
I didn't either. But yeah, it looks like the Smart Heli Quick Start Guide. We've got a warning addendum. Then we've got the manual here, so that's kind of nice. Uh-oh, look at this. Don't do that thing, whatever that is.
What is that thing?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Whatever they've drawn there. Okay,
Chop your hand off?
So continuing with the unbox portion, there's not a ton of unboxing because it like basically comes out fully assembled from what I can tell. Goodness, it's kind of heavy. What the heck? What? It's like a heavy helicopter. Oh, it's got the battery in it too. Okay, so first of all, one of the biggest complaints I have on recent vintage helis is that the tail rotor has been super ugly as sin. And so as you can tell, this is a belt-driven heli. It's got a tail assembly similar to what we have on some of the more conventional helis we've done in the past. And then look at this, we have this fin here, which looks like it is just, man, this thing is like absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's like a real model. I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say, but a lot of times when we get these helicopters, they're just sort of like, you know, they're close, but no cigar. This thing is legit. Okay, I'm pulling this thing off. Okay, so you got the prop guard, which is nice on a weird 3-bladed design, okay? And that's the other thing I wanted to point out. This is 3 blades, okay? So as you can see, whoa, those are kind of tight. That might be a little bit too tight.
They said they flew it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they did, but the guy that flew it at the factory like was a good pilot.
Is a
and I'm
professional.
not. So guys, when you get a helicopter like this, I just want to let you know right now, there's a lot of information. Hey, what did you open this? What'd you open this for?
No, I thought you were gonna look through that one because
Well, I'm gonna eventually look through it, but you had it open like I needed to see something.
No.
Okay. So guys, one thing I'm super excited about on this is we've got these little rubbers. You want to make sure you make a decision if you like that, because those rubbers can come off, it looks like. They just slide right off here. And so skids that have a resistance like that tend to flip helicopters in my experience, but that can also stop you from slipping too. It just depends on the exact experience. Look at these tanks. That is so gorgeous.
Really cool.
Does that even come off? No, I don't think so. Okay. This is really pretty. I'm a little bummed that with regard to just how, do not pull. Look, right here, do not pull. You wanna know why? Because I think this whole thing comes out. But look where this cable is. Oh, what I was gonna say is I'm a little bit bummed that this is like right here. It seems like it's sort of just out there. You've got this absolutely gorgeous model, but then you've got the GPS dongle out here kind of in the middle of the boom, which by the way, this boom is hollow, and there's actually that gear system, belt driven system right here that comes out, and some high-speed metal cased servos. Those are like legit servos. Very beautiful here. And just pulling out a chair, because I gotta get down here closer to see this. Guys, this is gorgeous. You see that as your rotor spins, then of course your tail rotor spins as well. And that is just legit. And look at this, the door's open. Wow, that is so cool. And it's metal with magnets. Look at this, you've got the collective here and the cyclic. I wonder if these chairs come out. It feels like this might lift off. Oh, and you can see the motor right here, guys. Look, you see the motor? You can see right there, it says 2000 kV. Dang it, I'm gonna spin it until I can see it. So it's an IDHMBD, like again, what are we doing, China? 300C, just rotating it a little bit. RCM BL470 2000 kV. Are you gonna put that down there so they can see right there? You guys see what I'm talking about? That's the motor, and as I kick this, it's just walking it around, so I'm able to read it, which is pretty sweet. Now these servos are JDHMBD 300C servos. So they've rebranded the servos, and same thing here. It looks like they have the same servo for all these. Now, full disclosure, when you fly a heli that's got a high quality tail mechanism like this, because what happens is this is a constant speed, okay? And what you do is you vary the linkage length here, okay? And that linkage length actually changes the pitch angle by moving this in and out, just like it would on a real helicopter. Are you able to see that? Mm-hmm. Okay. It doesn't seem like you're in a very good spot to see it. But the cool thing about it is this has more responsiveness than what you're gonna get from any of the brushless motors on the tails. Because a brushless motor can spin up to speed quickly, but changing the speed takes a second, okay? I mean, yes, it's relatively fast under load, like when you're trying to pull a heavy object a certain way, then you can use a brushless motor to do that, like on an airplane or a helicopter main rotor. But when it comes to the tail, being able to change that pitch within milliseconds is the difference between control authority on the yaw axis and not. Okay, so it's kind of a big deal. Okay, so you're fine there. So just looking through the rest of the packaging, was kind of weird that that lid just like popped out on me. Okay, and this does come with, it looks like it comes with just the one battery in the helicopter. There's the cable I was trying to find.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, for the charger.
Yeah, I was like, where is the cable? Okay, so it comes with an XT60 to banana jack. Okay, so this XT60 is going to plug into the chargeable battery, the rechargeable battery that's in the helicopter. Now also, because this comes equipped with the JST, I'm assuming we can use probably a 2S pack, but it just depends on how they have these batteries configured. It looks like they're probably plus, so those are in series, and then these are in series, but it's kind of hard to tell if they're in series or parallel on the end. I could use an ohm meter to figure it out. Looks like this one's connected together. So is this one connected together? Boy, it's hard to tell. But a lot of times if they're in series like that, then you're gonna still end up with like 4 volts. You're just gonna end up with more batteries giving you 4 volts, so you have a little bit longer run time. I'm assuming that's what's going on here, but I'm just gonna stuff all that stuff into the package there. And then this is a nice, robust case. I mean, it's similar to what we've seen in the past, but I gotta say, a little bit disappointed there's not a better hinge mechanism or something. At this price point, I want everything exactly perfect. Which should be fair, because it is an expensive helicopter.
Yeah.
Okay, so IMAX B6 AC. This is just a charger here, so not anything super special, but it does come with it, which is nice. Okay, and then you've got your AC plug. So, hon, if you could just cram that in the hole, that'd be great. Yeah, that's not gonna work in a US plug. But you know what? I don't need to use this in a US plug because I actually do have chargers that have the same plug style. So when you're ordering this in the North American market, and Sterling kit, you might want to fix that problem because most of us Americans don't have a plug that will plug into this. So we have previously gotten adapters on other European and Asian models. I assume this is an Asian plug style, but I honestly am not sure.
Know.
What does it say on the plug? It's in English. It says made in China. Weird.
Doesn't really answer our question, but
it's probably Asian. So check this out. One of our smart chargers already has this plug style, okay? So if you just look right here, my S2200, which is what I would use anyway to charge this battery, it uses the same plug style. So I'll just show you what it would look like, you know, if you were in China and it was working. Because here on Brian Phillips RC, we don't just show the high level stuff. We really dig deep. And for some of you, that's really obnoxiously annoying. And please forgive us because we're not trying to make it hard. We're just trying to make sure you understand what you're gonna get. Okay, so it's got a LiPo charge setting. Looks like they already set the settings for us. And you wanna trade sides, please? Okay, so the way this works is with your balance lead, you'll find the appropriate balance lead, plug it in here, and then you'll plug in the XT60. So we're gonna do that next. And this is set right now to 1.5 amps at 22.2 volts or 6S. And then you would press start and it's gonna start the charge sequence. Now, I'm assuming this flies on 6S because it's set to 6S, but who knows? We're gonna find out in just a second. How do we find out? Well, we're gonna go ahead and take the battery out. It's gonna be a mysterious and magical experience, okay? So I'm gonna fold these out of the way just because I'm not gonna wanna get whacked in the face. And by the way, I don't know if you guys can see this swash plate, but just everything is so like super detailed and nice. Get in there close and show them. It is just super well built, but it's also really stiff as heck right now. And that does make me slightly nervous. I mean, look at this linkage. It's all metal, goes up to metal with metal connected to plastic to the metal, which is kind of ironic. You go through all the trouble to make all metal system and then you have plastic at the end. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the bottom here. How does this battery come out? Okay, here's our ESC. So it's a 65 amp SK Hawk by whatever that is. And it looks like, hey, thrust reverse. Maybe it's thrust reverse. So I think you can release the battery here, okay? So there's this pin pulls out, and then that thing goes over, and it gets pulled all the way to the side. And you can drop that down. It's aluminum, not steel. Okay, and then the battery slips out. They're saying do not pull by this, so I'm gonna definitely pull by that. Like, what do they want you to pull by? The nothing? And you guys see what I'm talking about here. This thing is kind of tight. Like, you see, some of you are gonna leave this battery in and you're gonna do that and it's gonna be no big deal, okay, until it's a big deal. So just be careful. Charging lipos in helis or airplanes is generally kind of a bad idea. The manufacturer probably has some instructions for us about this, and I'm not sure. It's kind of bound up in there.
Does the whole tray come out? The whole like black carbon fiber part?
No, it doesn't appear to. That is, well, I mean, it might, but it doesn't. Yeah, I think that's bolted in there, hon.
Okay.
See, look, it's bolted in there, okay?
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna have to keep that camera back so you don't get hit by this metal boom, okay? Because it's metal. Like, you could get physically injured by this helicopter while it's not running. It's that dangerous.
Great.
That's how you know it's good. So I'm gonna just see if this thing will come out. If I'm careful about the way I hold this, maybe I can pull this carbon fiber back a little bit. Okay, so what do we do when we have problems? We open doors and move on to the next thing. That is so dang cool. I love that there's instrument cluster, there's pedals. That is beautiful. The collective here and the cyclic. You've even got like little buttons and stuff on there. Amazing. Okay, so now that I pulled my rod out, and yet, listen, that's so cool. It's so, feel how light this is.
Yeah, it's like
that is
nothing.
Amazing. Okay, so, and then just remember, you got to keep this thing, so don't lose it. A little disappointed. That's very easy to drop, and it's small, guys.
Yeah, it's small.
It's hard to see even on our counter, although everything sort of blends in. So instruction manuals are going to be the next big question mark. Let's see if the instructions tell us anything about the battery. So we've got a quick start guide, and it's going to teach us everything we could possibly need to know, okay? So, yeah, transmitter overview. You want to push that chair in so you can... What does it say, camera?
Transmitter overview, starting the transmitter, helicopter power. Please insert the battery into the abdomen of the helicopter. Be sure that the battery strap is securely fastened. Connect the yellow plug of the battery to the helicopter. Keep the helicopter stationary. After the initialization movement of the swash plate and the rotor head is complete, install the canopy correctly.
Oh, so you have to take the canopy off then.
That does not really help at all because like that's not what the picture
This is why we do
shows.
reviews on helicopters, folks, because a lot of times when we get these things, we get a manual that looks a little bit like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, fortunately for us, there's also English. We have literally gotten manuals that are only in Chinese before, and you can use your phone. You can break it out, go to Google and type the word translate. And if you have a camera that's compatible, it will actually load a video, and you can actually hover over this image in Chinese and read it in English. It's pretty cool. And then you can see all the hilarious jokes they made about your mother.
I think we should look in that other. This seems to be mostly all transmitter information.
Okay, hold on. Let me in there for just a quick sec. Because this is talking about how we'd start the process, okay? So it looks like we've got a couple of different moves we have to do, okay? So that's one thing you gotta remember. When you get one of these helicopters, the heli experts are gonna know there's a lot of steps that might be needed for a helicopter, but they're not gonna know exactly what they are. And I don't claim to be any sort of an expert on helis, but I just love them, okay? That's why you see like a bunch of helicopters back here. There's more than what you can see behind me, by the way. They're just put away right now. Just in kind of scrolling through here, one touch aerobatics, compass calibration, disclaimer, that's an important one. So they say to take off. Okay, there's got to be a way to take this thing off. And I'm assuming I just haven't figured it out yet. So did you happen to see anything about how to take the canopy off?
No.
They're making it sound like this whole dang thing comes off.
I think it's a poor Chinese translation.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know why you would take it off, because shine the camera in here. There's no way to get, what, Megan?
I was gonna look at the other instruction manual.
You see this?
Yeah.
Look, you can't get that battery out.
No.
There's
it's not
no
coming
way.
out that way.
It's not coming out that way. So if I get in here with my finger and just try to work it back, you see what's happened is it's hanging on to the lead really bad. And so if I pull on this, you can get it freed, okay? So I'm gonna see if I can pull on this. So guys, all the rest of the people on YouTube, well, we're kind of late to the show on this helicopter. They just show all the things working. See, the difference between them and us is we're gonna show you it not working. And the different frustrations that come along with, I must say, absolutely gorgeous, beautiful helicopter. I cannot wait to fly this thing, but I am pretty disappointed about this battery. So if that's the annoyance we have, then I guess we have that. But anybody that has ever used a LiPo knows exactly what's gonna happen. That thing is gonna be, whoop, stuck in there someday.
Yeah.
And if you get a 2% puff, you're not getting that thing out. And then you got this, you know, well, it's like thousands of dollars tied up almost.
Yeah.
And you can't even get your battery out of it. Okay, so what's the next move? What are we gonna do?
There's another instruction manual that's for the heli itself.
Okay,
That's
why
what
don't
I
you
was
look in
gonna
that
at.
while I cut off the safety label that I don't care about.
Okay.
Because I don't need a stinking safety label warning me to not pull on it and then not giving me any context by which to actually get the battery out. It says do not pull. It's kind of a nice looking label though. It's gold.
It is nice looking.
It's gold.
It's amazing.
ACQ or G? I don't know what that is. Doesn't matter.
There is
ACE maybe.
like exploded view diagrams in
Whoa,
here.
it's exploded.
In the back.
Really?
See here it shows like the battery tray.
Okay, hold on. Let me look at this for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're not gonna have to take off the canopy to do this.
No, I was just looking for English and it wasn't English at the front, so I was starting from the back.
Holy cow, look at this. 4-bladed, 3-bladed, 2-bladed. It's kind of funny. I like the 2-bladed really well too. That is beautiful. I love the way these cases look. They've got better cases.
Those are cool.
That's pretty sweet. So I mean, a lot of times you see these Chinese offerings and we don't get access to them in North America because there's no distributors in their right mind that's gonna bring this stuff in because you sell like 2 of them and then there'll be like 14 of them you'll order and you'll use like a month's income to you know, sit on that inventory. So at the end of the day, we're fortunate that there's people that are willing to actually bring these things into the North American market. They do give you a good exploded view diagram, which I like. And it does have English here. This is one of those things that kind of does matter. But in terms of actually, see this here? That's what I was talking about. That is a separate assembly that does not come out, hun. You'd have to disassociate them from one another. I do like this exploded view diagram. It's really nice. Nice color manual, thick pages. It's really good. Oh, look. Man, why do they have to use model numbers for everything? I want to know what that is. I can't even tell how many cells it is. It looks like it's a 4S, but it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, and you can't tell what the motor is either, which is really disappointing because I would like to know that. It is nice. The tail assembly looks like it comes as a unit because putting these things together is actually easier said than done.
Yeah.
We've built helicopters before. We built the M4 Max, we built the Max, but we didn't.
No,
We built the M4,
yes,
but not the M4 Max. Actually, Clay helped us with that. And so when I built that, I ran into some difficulties on the tail feathers, just because they're not tail feathers, I guess, technically, because it's a helicopter.
Yeah. And that's all in Chinese. So that's useless.
So this is a pretty typical US American experience dealing with an Asian helicopter, okay? We've done a lot of helicopters over the years. Just pan down here, we've got these ones from Flywing and then a bunch of these other small ones here that come from R Sierra and a variety of other manufacturers, and we've had really good luck with them. Sometimes the manuals leave a little something to be desired, and they'll tell you not to like fly around handicapped people and pack a lunch, and don't fly around boskage. Like nobody uses the word boskage in our country, but it is a real word, by the way. It means like bushes and stuff. And we always make fun of that crap because it's just hilarious. But at the end of the day, I mean, I love this helicopter, but I'm really off-put by the fact I can't get the dang battery out. What the heck?
And it comes with multiple batteries as an option, so it's not like it's an integrated battery that's not supposed to come out.
Yes, and that's a good point that you make, camera crew. And I could tell from the side, this looks like a 4S to me. It looks like a 4S, probably a 3,000 or 4,000 milliamp hour. But I am just like super duper weirded out. I want to see if I can get this lid out without disconnecting or dismantling. Yep, there you go. That made a big difference, folks. That was the ticket. Now, you're not supposed to be able to do that. I just quite literally popped the frame, okay? Like that. And it just went. It wasn't too bad, actually.
Maybe that's what they meant by the canopy. That little red piece.
Maybe that is what they meant.
That's not what it is, but.
Well, no, I mean, it's fine. Oh, by the way, they're using a radio link receiver here as well. It looks like an R12D SE version 2.0, okay? So that's pretty cool. Oh, and there's your cable. There's your cable. Okay, so let's show the people. Look at that little tiny cable there. Oh. I believe that is what this cable would be for. I don't know if that's for another satellite receiver. To be honest with you guys, I don't know much about Radiolink. I don't know much about their offerings. We've done a few planes for them here and there, and we've never been overly impressed with the offerings. They're okay. They have some really cheap transmitters and receivers, I can tell you that. That is not for that. Dang it, I'm sorry, folks. Oh, it must go to the H1. It must go to the Flywing. Oh, look, a Flywing controller. That's interesting.
Oh, I thought that looked familiar.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But normally this is integrated inside of the canopy.
Right.
And look, we have a USB-A. Yeah, it's a GPS extender. Look. See? Same cable. So you could actually replace this and go to another GPS receiver, which is pretty cool. And just to be clear, this is a flight controller, okay? So it comes fully installed if you get it in the ready to fly package. Now, I'm gonna just tell you this, guys, because you come to Brian Phillips RC so we can help you get in the air, out of the chair, into the air, full truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. That's why we share the negative things too. You know, at the end of the day, the negative things are obviously far overshadowed by the positives, even on a Dynam, you know. It's like I give them trouble all the time, but at the end of the day, if you're flying a Dynam and compared to not flying, great, good for it. Do what you're gonna do and do all things RC aviation because that's what we do and we wanna help you. But don't get one of these in a plug and play configuration and ask me questions. I will not be able to guide you through it. That's because I'm not a heli expert. There are people that can probably help you with that, but I haven't found them online myself, okay? We found a lot of help on helis, but not necessarily on these ready to flies like this that are also offered in the plug and play. You gotta really know your stuff. There's a couple of guys I see once in a while that do stuff, but they're not quite as thousands of videos-esque like Brian Phillips RC. Okay, getting back to the point. We have a 4,000 milliamp hour 30C, nothing special, 14.8, that'd be a 4S, high discharge LiPo pack. Okay, so high discharge, what does that mean? If it's 14.8 volts, does that mean I need to charge this differently? Whatever that means. Looks like a pretty nice battery, actually. Yeah. And by the way, I was nervous that the pack was puffed, okay? Straight up, I thought it was puffed because it wouldn't slide out. It's because that stupid door was running into it. Now, that stupid door is gonna make the battery not move in flight, which I do like. Okay, so let's talk about this. How do you actually charge this? Well, you're not gonna charge it on 6S, I can guarantee you that, or you're gonna catch it on fire. So you plug in your balance lead, okay? There's only one it lines up with, okay? If you plug it into the wrong one, it won't work, okay? Then you're gonna plug in your discharge lead. This is your discharge lead, that's your balance lead. And then you're gonna plug it in just like this, okay? And then you're gonna change your settings, which, you know, to be honest with you, it says battery type, LiPo battery, okay, program. I'm not familiar with this one yet, so the red lettering is kind of hard to read against the blue. Battery type, decrement, increment, start, okay? So we're gonna go program, type, there we go. See, we're going left and right now. Capacity, well, that's fine. Because this is only a 4,000 milliamp hour, save time. I don't want to do all this crap. I'm just gonna see if I can go stop. Oh, there we go, program. There we go, battery select. Now I'm gonna go start on that. I'm gonna change balance, fast charge, storage, fast charge, balance. Okay, so how do I change it? Because it's not, I don't want to be doing that. Oh no. You guys see what's going on here? LiPo battery, nickel metal hydride, nickel cadmium, lead, save data, load data, program. There we go. We want that. We're going to press enter. And then I want to change it. There, see it says fast charge 1S, storage, discharge, charge. But I should be able to press battery type and change that. But if for whatever reason it's not changing and I don't want to start it. So in order to save from catching things on fire, I'm going to unplug this actually just to be safe. And I'm going to press enter, and this should, oh, there we go. Okay, so now it's going to allow me to change the values with the increment and decrement. So normally for a 1C charge rate, you would charge at 4 amps on a 4,000 milliamp, or milli meaning 1,000th of whatever, okay? So I'll go up to 4 amps. If this thing can even handle 4 amps, which I'm guessing it probably can. Yeah, it looks like it can. Okay, so there's 4. And then you can now change this to 4S, okay? So 14.8 volts. And I'm just gonna plug this in. Remember, you're keyed. And so you've got this key up here. You're gonna have to get up real close so you can see that. You guys see that key? That's gonna go up on this particular style of balance lead, okay? Now you've got the same type on these Spectrum chargers, but they're just, they're all together in one strip, okay? So plug that in and then press and hold. Or yeah, see how it just keeps toggling? Now press and hold. There it goes. It says, wait, now it's gonna confirm. Confirm. Now there may be a cooling fan that kicks on here in a minute. It seems like it's passive. I don't see any cooling fan. And it's gonna tell you your timer, you can tell you your amps, and then sometimes you can press this button and move the data. Yeah, there you go. So you can see your balance values for each of the cells, and then you can see charge time, and then you can see how many milliamp hours have been forced into your pack, and then also your nominal voltage here, okay? So that's your balance lead is gonna tell you how much each of those cells have. Now this is gonna be a balancing charger, so it's gonna take care of balancing. But you know what's crazy about this? The technology in that battery seems pretty amazing, right? Until you realize that this battery here has a self-balancing circuit. It's got an auto discharge circuit and an auto in-use balancing circuit, all built into the smart technology. And that's why we usually try to use these batteries. Now, if you don't know what that smart chip looks like, this is what the smart chip looks like. Obviously, these are more expensive than that, what would be considered a dumb pack, okay? So this is out of a crashed plane. Okay, I did not sacrifice this battery to the RC gods. I crashed it. So that was an earned token of appreciation here. Okay, so that's what's inside and under here. And that's why if you ever feel one of these after your auto discharge period and it's kind of warm, that's because it's automatically discharging. It dissipates heat. So it changes electrical, chemical energy. The potential is consumed into heat, okay? Now, Gen 1 packs are a little bit slower and they are a little bit less capable than Gen 2, but only by a small margins. Also, look how short this lead is. It's ridiculously short.
It's really short.
You know, it's almost comically short. The balance lead is very short, but then the discharge lead is a little bit more conventional. This is even a kind of small discharge lead. But just to give you an idea, on non-smart battery, this Arrows pack, kind of similar competitive brand to what we would be getting with this helicopter, is 3,314.8 volts at 35C. So this here is only a 30C. So this would technically be a little bit faster discharging, or at least their claims to it are that it's going to be faster. I don't buy it, not an Arrows pack. This is probably a nicer battery actually, even though it's claiming 30C. You also notice that this is claiming 30C. I guarantee you this is a lot nicer chemistry and a lot more balanced cells than this, okay? Not that it matters. I mean, and I'm not trying to beat anybody up on your battery choices, because we also have China hobby line batteries that we've been using lately. They've been working pretty good, and they are considerably cheaper than some of the competitive offerings like the smart packs. But I gotta say, things that I look for are silicone leads. Silicone coatings help to make this stuff last. These are usually silicone on the discharge leads, but these are not always. If they're like that hard plastic, they're a pain in the butt to work with. Also, if you get a battery that has a super short lead like this, they're a pain in the butt sometimes to balance charge. But with a smart battery, you can just plug it in and say, ignore the balance lead. I'm gonna use this circuit in here. And then via the data lead, that's that gray wire there, that goes to that middle pin on the IC3 connector. This is an XT60, this black one. That's IC3, both 60 amp rating range, plus or minus. That's gonna carry the data through a smart charger, and it's gonna take care of all the balancing and data transmission back and forth. So it's actually got a serial number. The charger knows what we set for the automatic discharge, how fast we wanna charge this, so we don't have to go in and change any of that crap that we just did, okay? So that's one of the reasons why I'm gonna show you here in a minute. I'm gonna just go ahead and turn on the smart one since it's already plugged in, and we'll show you if we were to use this exact apparatus. Now, this is at 3.92, 3.91, 3.92, 3.91. So it's gonna obviously work, but I'm gonna stop it. How do you stop it? You press that, it says stop. Now I can unplug and I can unplug. Now keep in mind, we had a lot of batteries here, okay? People that are concerned about LiPo safety. The number one safety issue when dealing with LiPos is knowing what the heck is going on by seeing and hearing, smelling. Well, I don't do that so good anymore. Hard surface, proper electronics supplying it. Yeah, I mean, don't plug it in and use it through an extension cord 4,000 feet long, you know? At the end of the day, the best thing you can do to be safe with LiPos is to be aware of what's going on. If something's going wrong, go unplug that charger, throw it out the window. I don't care, get it out of your house or put it in a sink. I've actually had LiPos where I have thrown them in the sink and it has protected us. I mean, it's small LiPos. I got burned on a 1S LiPo, guys, by a lead that it welded itself back together. I couldn't believe it. I saved the lead. The battery is fine still. But if you do it with a big one like that, a little harder to rip off the end, by the way. Let's show you how to charge this on the smart charger, okay? So I have this little adapter here. This came with one of our, I think it was a Venom pack or something like that. But you could use, you know, something that you build, something like this. I'm using an EC3 adapter, which will get you into an IC3 connector, which come equipped on these smart chargers. They come with an IC3 and an IC5. So look, you can plug this in right there. Look, it populates the screen with all the data. You can see it right there, and then I'm gonna just plug in my balance lead. Now, one of the big drawbacks of not using a smart battery is now I have to press this, and I have to scroll up to my setting and change this down to, up to 4 amps if I wanna charge at 1C. And then it automatically knows it's a 4S. I don't have to tell it that, and it knows the LiPo is what type we're dealing with. And then we'll hit start, and then we're gonna get the data that's real similar to what you were getting over here on this IMAX B6AC. Now I can press down and I can get my voltages of each of those cells, but then here in a minute, we're gonna see the internal resistance as well, which is kind of handy if you know what that actually means. Okay, now I'm gonna hit back, or I could hit up, and look at this, we even have some temperatures, okay? Hit up, see how it stopped? Because I hit back. Now I'm gonna press start, I'm gonna hit start again. So we're gonna let that charge. Now, why do we go over all these steps? Because here's the thing. You don't need to be an expert to get started, but the more expertise you bring as you start, the easier time you're gonna have in enjoying this hobby. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to digest. We're gonna help get you there. This is probably not a beginner helicopter, even though a beginner could probably fly it, okay? I wanna see if this 4S 4000 fits in here. I don't know that it will, but it would be nice to know since we only have the one battery. I'm gonna cradle this like this and just let those blades fall down. Okay. And if you look right here with me, you can see that door definitely makes it hard to get in the hole. So I'm just gonna take this gatekeeper off. Yes, I see you giving me the evil eye.
No, I agree with you.
Look, see? Oh, that is a nice fit, actually. Now, you can see I can't quite get that lead out that hole, okay? Now look where it's straddled down in there. There's a bar that goes across. Point your finger in and point at that front bar. You guys see that? Careful, this is metal. You can get cut on it. Carbon, by the way, carbon fiber edges, not a good place to rub your fingers along, just in case you're wondering. Because if you've ever had a fiberglass splinter in your finger, And if you go to carbon fiber, you're gonna really hate life for a few weeks because some of that stuff is hard to get out, okay? So looks like you could probably get in there. Now, a couple of things you could do if you can't get this door to shut and you wanted to use your smart pack, because we always link to smart packs and we encourage you guys to get them where possible. Okay, you see this? You're not gonna have a real easy time closing that in, are you? So here's the catch. I'm gonna show you the trick. There's a number of different ways you could do this. One, you could throw a caution to the wind. I don't recommend it because if this thing gets into an attitude where it decides to poop that out, your helicopter is gonna come down in many pieces probably, and this is a very expensive helicopter. So I wouldn't recommend it. The other thing is you could put this through on the top. It looks like if you did it on the top, I don't think that battery could come out because you're gonna be blocking the access with this utility. So you could do the top or the bottom, whichever one's easy. In fact, let's try that just to show the people. We wanna bring some value here on Brian Phillips RC. If you wanna help support Brian Phillips RC, look no further than the links in the video description below. When you decide to buy something beautiful like this, it's an expensive helicopter. We understand, we're not trying to talk people into like, you know, skip your mortgage payment and buy the helicopter. But at the end of the day, some of you guys' money's not a big object. And we just want you guys to see what's the latest and greatest. We are very happy to be partnering up with so many different amazing companies that help us bring you the latest and greatest in RC. Look at that. Ooh. That is not coming out, folks. Now, if I were to crash and like fling this way, I suppose at like 100 miles an hour, it might come out. But I'm telling you right now, it's thicker here than it is here. It's catching just past
that point.
That's hard on my battery, so I don't like doing it, but to make a point, I'm gonna go ahead and do it, okay? So that actually did work. You would be able to use this battery. And yes, you can plug an IC3 into an XT60, but I'm not gonna do it right here and right now. Here's why we don't do that. When it's big enough that it can put a hole in my wall or my head, I don't generally do it in the living room. Now, I have done it before, but that was it was a bad move. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not talking about me now. I'm talking about me like 10 years ago.
Well, that was more than 10 years ago.
I crashed a helicopter into my wife's oak cabinet and she was not happy about that. Now, I was also not happy about that because it was also my oak cabinet. And I learned a very valuable lesson, and that is if you want to live to see however old I was plus extra days,
that would, yeah.
Don't do that ever again. I've crashed helicopters who got a little damage in the drywall up there. Yeah. But that's, you know, when you're flying a little Bell 206 or something like this, this, by the way, full disclosure, is not this helicopter, but it was something like it. This is considerably better helicopter than what we crashed up there.
Yes.
This thing wouldn't damage the drywall, I don't even think. It's so light. But you get something like this, guys, you don't have to spend this kind of cash to have a great experience. Okay? If you want to and you've worked your way through the ranks, then do it. If you've got the money, just spend it. You know, you can't take it with you. But I just want to point out the fact that we're not tone deaf to the fact that these things are quite pricey. Okay? So that being said, we want you guys to see if this is any good. Okay? If we have a bad experience, then your experience is probably going to be a lot like ours. Okay? So thanks for taking a chance on us. All the different affiliates we work with, we appreciate you guys doing that. Because at the end of the day, we understand that you could work with somebody that's just gonna be yes men. And they're just gonna say how great everything is. That's not what we do on Brian Phillips RC. We show the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. Why does that matter to you? Because, you know, if you're spending your hard-earned money on stuff like this, we wanna make sure you're gonna end up getting at least what you expect to get. And if this is how good the Chinese manuals are, I'm gonna just let you guess how good the website is. Now, that being said, when you buy from the website, you'll help support us with small commissions. It comes from the purchase of these expensive things, okay? So that is how we fund our channel. And by the way, let's stick this back in here. One of my favorite features about this thing, okay? It's not the breaking glass, okay? Because I fixed that 3 times now, well, 2 times. It's this toggle switch.
Yep.
I love it because I can reach around and just give her a little flick, right?
Right.
Camera crew? Once I give her a little flick, then she gets all excited and starts charging things. Is that how we work that out?
Sure.
Is that the deal we have? Give her a little flick, she shuts right off. Instead of having the stupid cable I gotta plug in and cram it in there every time, I just wanna give it a little flick and then get her going, you know, like that.
It's a lot easier.
Pretty awesome. And by the way, the S2200, I feel like it's better dollars for donuts than going up to the S 20 or as 1400, because then you're just getting one channel and 400 watts. I'm like, I don't find myself in a lot of circumstances where I need to have 400 watts. Yeah. But if you need 400 watts, you're gonna be setting up a charger system like this with a 30 or 15 amp power supply. You're gonna be charging like lickety split. And by the way, we have it on good word from the people that know things more than me, a lot more than me, like some of the world's most prevalent test pilots. I'm dead serious. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. I
don't know what you're talking about.
He says, charge them as fast as you can charge them.
Oh, yes.
That's what he says.
Yep.
He told us that.
Every time.
Now, he may or may not work for the manufacturer that sells the batteries. He does. So at the end of the day, I'm not sure if he's just trying to sell more batteries or if he's just, but I mean, that's what he does with his own batteries too.
Yeah.
So when you get batteries, I've learned this in my experience with lipos. There's a lot of lipo talk about this beautiful helicopter. You guys are here to see this beautiful thing and I get it. But the truth is, until we have a chance to get some batteries in there, we're not gonna be doing much with it, okay? So we're gonna get some batteries. We gotta get a part-time job so I can buy some double A's, okay? Then we'll be back. We can put those in at a later time. But lipos, a lot of talk about lipos. Why do lipos matter? Because lipos are one of two big safety issues. Props, and with helicopters, you got big props, and or rotors in this case, and lipos. Be careful with both of them. Be good neighbors. This is definitely not sub 250. You want to see just how not sub 250 it is? So if you're flying in a FRIA, you should be good to go. If you're flying outside of a FRIA, camera crew, how would you do that if you wanted to try to be compliant? We're not telling you all the rules because we are not rule makers and we don't owe anything to those idiots. I'm sorry, those wonderful people.
Remote ID module of your choosing.
Yeah, here, how about this? Let's show them a couple options. Here's two. This one's more expensive, but it'll give you like some GPS feedback if you're using Spectrum, okay, which we're not in this. Or you could just use a Ruco. Okay, and there's about 4 billion other brands. We have links to this. It's like cheap, like 30 bucks, 35 bucks. And yes, you can just strap that wherever it fits. You can put it in the passenger seat of the helicopter and turn it on, ready to rock and roll.
Yep, that one is rechargeable, so you don't have to have an external battery.
So there's definitely some advantages. Now the Spectrum offering, of course, is gonna give you more telemetry feedback, and that's always nice. And if you guys are wondering what the heck these gloves are, it's not murder kits, I promise. What I do is I use these when I'm out flying in the bitter, terrible cold, and they're just pairs of nitrile gloves. And if you double them up, you'll be amazed how warm you can stay. And then if you double them up, you can also slide them off of your hand a lot of times without them turning inside out on you, which is kind of cool. I wear gloves a lot for work, and so I am used to working with my hands for my day job, working on industrial scales. And so I like to keep my hands clean and safe. And I used to wear contacts, so I'd like to be able to peel them off and I could, adjust a contact lens or whatever. Now that I'm, 6, 7 years into LASIK, I don't have to do that as much, but it's just, old habits die hard. Okay, so just how not sub 250 this is.
Oh, yes. That's
now, if you don't know what I mean when I say sub 250, you probably aren't aware of the regulations, so just take my word for it. If it's too heavy, you have to fly in a FRIA, which is an FAA recognized identification area. And if you, it straddles. Okay, so what we gotta do now is we gotta make something bigger. So those FAA recognized identification areas, I'm gonna use a bowl for this, hon.
Okay.
Okay, it'll make it wider than the footprint. Okay, so we can put this on the scale. We'll zero it out. Okay. And those FAA recognized identification areas. Now, I do not have the battery in here, full disclosure. I do not have. Hold on. I'm trying to get, you need to move so I can, thank you. It doesn't want to balance, dang it. Here, I'll see if I can come out here with it. There we go. Yeah, she's just a little bit over. And by the way, look, we've still got a pile of stuff over here.
Yeah.
So this thing is definitely not going to be sub 250. Meaning sub 250, meaning less than 250 grams. 250 grams would be a quarter of a kilo. A kilo would be 2.2 pounds. So if you figure on whatever that is, like a fifth of a pound.
Yeah, something like that.
So for those of you that know ounces, I'm American, but I do not know ounces. I mean, I work on industrial scales for God's sakes, and I don't, who wants to do 16ths? It's ridiculous. The only good thing about a 16th, you can divide it in half And then you have 8 left over?
I don't know, I could tell it to you in cups or tablespoons.
Cups or tablespoons? Okie dokie.
And 16ths.
16ths?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know that those of you that do carpentry, you'll appreciate the measurement system for that reason, because you can find the center really easy. Okay, so getting back to the point, sorry guys, definitely not sub 250. Mechanism looks nice. It is so weird that we have spring-loaded landing skids, but I love this, guys. I love this. Why are we not getting this on more helicopters? Because not only is it gorgeous, but it will actually help protect it. And a functional horizontal stabilizer, that is sweet, guys. So this thing's gonna suck air and blow air in all sorts of directions. And that thing is not only scale looking, but absolutely fabulous. It's gonna help with flight performance. What was this thing called? The Swarovski crystals?
No.
What's the real name? The Schweizer?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry guys, I love aviation, but there's a lot of stuff I don't know. And one of those things is names of helicopters. I'm just finally starting to get a grasp on it. But as we continue to build our aerodrome here on Brian Phillips RC, on our 24 acres, we're getting ready to build our hangar / agricultural building, and it's getting pretty real. Okay, so like we have a pad done. We're figuring out underground service to get power and water and data lines and things like that back to the building. And it's all really happening in real time and space. And so as things like that really happen, it reminds me to say thank you for helping do all the insane things that your wife won't let you do right here on Brian Phillips RC. So thank you. And the way you can help us is by smashing that like button right now, sending over a super thanks if you don't want to buy a heli like this and end up divorced, or an airplane, like get that Carbon Z. Don't even mess around with the small stuff. Just get the big one.
Well,
just get the biggest one you can buy. Get that J3 cup. Get that J3 cup.
There you go.
What about the little Draco? Get that as an appetizer.
Yes.
But for those of you that would like to stay married, I just want to thank you. And super thanks are a good way to do that. PayPal. We also offer Patreon memberships and YouTube memberships. All those ways are always super appreciated. But at the end of the day, these helicopters are like a special place in my heart, because here's the thing. I understand that I'm gonna be flying part 103 probably. Okay, so just like powered paragliding, we fly under part 103, so it's legal, and we're in Class G airspace. We obviously have, we don't talk about the legal stuff, do we?
Nope.
We just don't. We just refuse to. It's just stupid. I'm not gonna play games with politicians.
And it's gonna change.
It's gonna change. So if we say it, in 6 months, it's gonna be wrong. Just know before you fly. Figure out what you want to do. Do you guys, and we'll do us. But we are going to try to give you the tools that you need to do the things. There's one place we don't talk about, and that is legal stuff, because we don't want to get sued and we don't want somebody to get hurt. Okay, so that's what we talk about. Be safe. If you want to be legal, go for it. We really don't care. We don't even think it should be a law. Or it's not a law. It's a regulation by a regulator that's a bureaucrat. Fire that guy.
Okay, no more.
Sorry, I got off on a tangent again. I do this every time. So at the end of the day, we want to help you guys know what it takes to get in the air and not necessarily discourage you in any way from doing it, okay? So there's ways to support us as we build our aerodrome. One of the things I was trying to make a point on is that I would love to fly helicopters, but it's very uncommon to see an ultralight helicopter. They do exist, but it's uncommon. A lot of people like to die and stuff doing these things.
Yeah.
So I would rather live and do things that are less likely to die, like ultralights, because those are super safe too.
So much safer.
But we actually have had a full-scale plane. It was sitting through that window on the edge of the hill. It's pretty cool. So special thanks to Joel for flying in. If you guys want to see that, you can check it out. It's in our playlist. All you have to do, if you ever want to find something on Brian Phillips RC, check out our playlists on YouTube. There's so many of them, though, that we have organized them in better fashion on bprc.me. That's our short link for brianphillipsrc.com. Of course, you have to spell my name right. So if you don't know how to spell, just go to bprc.me and you can check it out sorted by type or manufacturer or affiliate we worked with. So like on this one, it would be under a Sterling kit, or it would be in helicopters. Okay. Now the helicopters admittedly will probably expand to size classes as well, which by the way, I'm just going to show you this real quick so you have a size comparison. Obviously we're not trying to do side-by-side comparisons, trying to talk you out of this helicopter and into something else. But I did do this kind of fancy little blade storage system. Super high-tech helicopter apparatus made by zip ties. But I just wanted to say, because this helicopter has 4 blades, I wanted to show you the size difference, because this is a considerably cheaper BO
105.
105. Oh, gosh, I was drawing a blank there. But blade system for this is different. Obviously, it's a quick release blade, but look at that. That's the same size, okay? So now let's go over to the M4 real quick. Blades on helis, it's goofy because they size them by blades, but then the swash and the mechanism, so this is the 385 millimeter blades, but look how much smaller this is. And granted, that's super sharp and beautiful, but this is a lot bigger blade. And then, like, for instance, this particular blade heli, for instance, we'll flip it this way. You can see it's about the same size, okay? So size classing for helicopters is sort of weird, because you'll get some helicopters that have considerably smaller blades than others, and some that have considerably bigger. It just depends on the platform. Like this Fusion 360, and there's an Infusion as well.
Yeah,
but this has almost the exact same setup inside it, except this happens to have a brushless tail boom, okay? And that's how they do that on that 3D printed. But like on this Fusion 360, you can see it's got the better tail system, which is really nice, but you can get this in a Maiden Flight platform, okay? So when you're looking for a helicopter that's, you know, just like a, what do they call it, a stick and boom style, you know, there's a million different choices. We're gonna help you get to the bottom of what you might be able to fly. Now, I am not gonna pick a fight with heli people, because heli people are like experts within a field of experts, okay? I'm not that guy. I love airplanes. I'm way more expert in airplanes than I am in helis. But I can tell you this, I know what I need, because I'm an airplane guy that loves helicopters. So I'm gonna help you do that too, okay? By the way, this little detail, I noticed they have the same little detail on the trailing edge of the blades right here, really cool. I am not a big fan of those stickers. I doubt they're balanced. Okay, so real quick, just to give you guys an idea of sizing, these slide in and twist. And one of the coolest mechanisms we've seen in a while, okay? Slide in and twist, compared to what you're gonna see right here, which is a screw-in style. Now, do I like this or this better? My answer might surprise you. Camera crew?
I'm gonna say that you actually like this one better.
Yes, why?
Because of the adjustability.
Because not only can I fold these for storage, but I can loosen that so that it has a looser grip, and therefore it's less likely to become damaged in a tip over, not a hit a brick wall kind of thing, because you're gonna be screwed in that case anyway. But these ones are fixed and they do not swing, okay? Now, that being said, it leads to more vibration, and you have to have very well balanced blades, okay? But I gotta say, that is a cool feature.
Yeah.
And also, even just the 2-bladed look is pretty sweet. But in real life, this would have 4 blades. So I like what real life brings, okay? So good job from Flywing. But I gotta point out one other thing. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Beautiful. I want to see more of you.
Right.
I love looking at your face. What the heck happened to your face? Were you involved in a fire? Did you guys see what I just said there? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This is a cool and absolutely gorgeous helicopter, and yet I find myself holding back projectile vomit from this, okay? That being said, this is about not quite half the cost of that.
Okay.
That is a huge difference, folks.
Yes.
So this thing better come with some happy ending. Can I say that?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, I just did. So yeah, this better be a good helicopter. That's all I got to say, because it looks really fantastic, but also looks can be deceiving. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. Correct? Mm-hmm. So our next move is to get some batteries, and we'll come right back. So after a small act of Congress, I was allowed to get an entire strip of Thunderbolt batteries. It's some of the cheapest, most garbagey batteries you can possibly find on the interweb.
I still didn't give you a whole row.
Oh, it's a partial roll? I fought for a whole roll. I only got all but...
You have to pass it to read what's in it.
Oh, dang it. Well, Congress has screwed me again. By the way, you could tell when a battery is garbage because they say when they bounce, they're dead. That's because this thing is so light. It's, well, if you're trying to be sub 250 and you're using double A's to power your helicopter, this is the batteries for you. Harbor Freight Special.
Yes.
Not affiliates.
No.
Dang it.
We wouldn't make
That
it. We would make that
would be good. Can you imagine the garbage we would get if we did that? Wow, almost be like dang good. Wow, look, pre-dented.
I was gonna say they usually
yeah, don't lick that one. Okay, so guys, listen, all joking aside, double A's. Ooh, is that one like pre-leaky? No, it's just a plastic stretching. So, if you don't know this already, you're probably in the wrong field. Plus goes this way, negative goes that way. The negative, oh wow, they are so crappy. If you got like a Duracell out, it would probably weigh like 10 times as much as this. And by the way, if you guys were wondering why I'm complaining about these batteries sucking so bad, they really do suck. We put them in and they go to like 75% power immediately.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. So if you're like me and you shop at Harbor Freight for your double A's, now we do admittedly have like literally thousands of these things floating around our house.
Well, I know, and they're so cheap that when the kids like leave their car transmitter on,
we don't feel bad.
Take it out of there.
Okay. So as you can see, we've got this small bundle of joy. Now, let's just check the voltage because I feel like a little bit dumb not just giving people the answer to this question. Okay. Because truthfully, we have a million lipos. We could just like use a lipo in there. By the way, okay, so I'm gonna go volts DC, 20 volts. Yeah, that's a repaired lead. Okay. So we're just gonna go across the positive and the negative. And we're gonna try not to, in fact, I'm just gonna go, this one's broke off. That's when you know you've arrived.
Did you get that from Harbor Freight too?
No, well, actually I might have. It got broke, so it was getting thrown away. So I'm like, okay, well don't throw it away, I'll put it in my kitchen. Okay, so we've got, come on now. Oh, 13.37 volts. That's kind of weird. So we would need to have a 3S or a 4S technically, because a 3S would not. Well,
would be only 11.
Yeah, well, but see, that's the middle voltage. It's not the, okay. What's our rule about math on camera?
We don't do math on camera.
We don't do math on camera. I could do math off camera all day long. Come back to where you are. Okay, so we're gonna do 4.2 times 3 would be 12.6. It probably would run it, but I mean, you'd want to use like a slightly discharged 4S. Maybe that's why they included the
AA contraption.
Yeah, that's probably what they did. Oh, by the way, you can get battery cells that are lithium batteries that go into this size. That would be a AA size class. And so I think that's what that other number was that we were seeing.
It's like a double AA. Instead of like a half AA, there's like extra long ones.
You searching for long ones? What the heck? Okay, so anti-reverse design. Okay. Input 7.4 through 18. If I would have just looked inside of there.
I would have read the thing.
No, turn on the light. Stick it in there.
Hold still.
Whoa. Wow. There it is. Input 7.4 through 18 volts. So yes.
Have to do math.
Yeah, but anti-reverse direction, what the heck is that supposed to mean? The battery plus is going up. So red is going up. I gotta say, that's a jankety connector.
Yeah, if that's all it is.
Like, this is a pretty, sophisticated radio system for a pretty expensive helicopter to have a plug of such high magnitude quality.
Powered by Harbor Freight AA's.
Well, I mean, that's not their fault.
No, it's not.
Okay, so this does also have an output out in NC, VC, and signal. That's pretty cool. Looks like a PS2 connector. All right, so RadioLink, the AT9S Pro. It's professional. Ooh, fancy. Look at this. Look at all this stuff going on. That's so amazing. Okay, so you can scroll and click. Okay, don't change the settings. They said don't change it.
Changed it.
That's pretty nice. I like it. That's cool. Fancy. Wow. Wow. Ooh, we got sliders back here, but they aren't assigned anything, it looks like. Oh, yep, that one does something. That does nothing. That does nothing. This does something. Nothing. 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 That does something. That does something. That doesn't do nothing. Okay? How do I know? Because, oh, look, normal, 0 fly, 8 fly. That means that this will fly in a circle. And then we have 3D, GPS, and home. Amazing. Very good. And then we have stop and run. So we have oh, because you couldn't do like throttle cut here because that's spring loaded, folks. Okay. And then which direction is the best direction for the antenna? I don't know. Probably 90 degrees of the direction of the helicopter, but this is just a regular handle. It's metal, so it definitely doesn't have a diversity antenna in it. At least not right here. There might be one that's inside of here. And if you guys don't know what I mean when I say diversity antenna, I'm talking about the diversity antennas that we have on the transceivers. That's a transceiver, just like this is a transceiver. It's technically a transmitter by name, but this is a transceiver, meaning it's also a receiver because it receives data via telemetry feedback. Okay, so this also has more or less some sort of telemetry setup as well. But this handle actually has an antenna that goes through it, and then there's the primary vertical antenna. So there's 2 of them, and diversity antennas help to combat noise by having cross cancellation at 90 degrees of each other. And that's why we do that on our receivers that are inside of our airplanes. Now, if you guys are like flying up here with this lingo and it doesn't really mean anything to you, that's fine. You don't need to understand everything to fly that we understand, because when I started, I didn't understand everything. I made more mistakes and I had more consequences from not understanding. But the more I studied and the more I learned and the more we flew and the more we unbox, build, radio, set up planes, helicopters and VTOLs and all these other, quads and stuff like that, the more well-versed I got. So it just takes time. So if you're brand new and you're thinking, hey, I want to get here, you're in the right place. It's just that this is the wrong helicopter. I'm going to tell you that right now. This is a really heavy helicopter. It looks amazing. Okay, so there's a quick start guide here for a reason. Why is there a quick start guide? Well, mostly because this guide is fairly useless unless you're actually building it. And then it's pretty helpful because they have really good pictures of the assemblies. Okay, so like if you crash and you have to repair this, this is where you're going to go. Okay. But in order to start flying your you might need to read through the manual so that you understand the correct order of operations, okay? So the default is mode 2, by the way. So mode 2, what that means is that on the sticks, this is going to be your collective, okay? It's spring loaded. And you're like, well, a collective that's spring loaded, that's kind of ridiculous. Well, not on a GPS heli drone, okay? So this is what I call a GPS heli drone. What is a GPS heli drone? A GPS heli drone is a drone that's shaped like a helicopter, okay? Meaning it's got a flight controller that does the flying and you are a passenger along for the ride. But you also get to control it. And you can shut that mode off and you can go into 3D and you can actually fly this aggressively and do crazy things. Now, I don't know how aggressively yet. We'll see that in the Maiden Flight. But for now, this is going to be your collective. What does the collective do? The collective takes all these blades together and it goes up. It's kind of nice. They all move together. That was good. Helped me make my point. Okay, so that's the collective. And then we have the cyclic, not the cyclic, right? Because that would be wrong, evidently. I don't know. I always say it wrong no matter what. And that moves, like for instance, if I were to do this, just imagine this is the plane of that plate. Now, lined up like this, on a mode 2, this is mode 2, not mode 1. Mode 1 is different, okay? You would lean this way and it would go, swash plate would go like that. And imagine this being a disc, okay? So it's spinning along, doing its thing, okay? Not chopping my hands off or my head off. It would move this one up if I did that. And it would force the swash plate to go up at an angle, and then that would translate so that each of the blades would make their respective changes to pull the disc that way, okay? Then if I wanted to rotate or roll to what would be our right, then I would just push like this and it would roll me to the right by moving this disc that is now a plane of spinning death. And if I wanted to rotate to the right, then I would just move to the right like this and it would move that disc to the right and it would pull the helicopter accordingly. And then the collective would move more thrust to help impact change in our environment. Now, the flight controller also controls this fancy contraption here so that you don't have to sit there and move left and right to control the output of this all the time. The flight controller does the vast majority of the work. You just tell it when you want to have the tail boom move this way or that. And when you let go, it's going to lock its position, okay? So it is gyro stabilized as well as GPS called out location responding. It does it for real, people. So GPS heli drones will take off and hold a position, and then when the wind doth blow, it will stay there because it will resist on its own. And then you will say, I would like you to go forward, sir, and it will go forward, sir. And then when you let go, like I just did there, it will stop. And then you could lay the transmitter down and watch it. Now, anybody who's flown a real helicopter or crashed a real helicopter will understand that you cannot lay the transmitter down. The most skilled heli pilots might be able to get into a hover and then very briefly do something like this and then pick it right back up. I'm not one of those people, okay? By the way, this thing is pretty heavy and there is a lanyard mount point here, just so you guys know, okay? By the way, don't mean to poo-poo this. It's actually a pretty nice transmitter. It's big in the hands. It feels nice. I'm an adult. I have an adult-sized hands. Okay, if you're a kid, this might be a little bit big for you. It's got a little wrap around here to grab onto, but it does feel slick. And I'm afraid I'm gonna drop it, okay? Let's compare that to one of the competitive offerings. I've got rubber back here that really helps it feel solid in the hand. Now that doesn't mean that you couldn't be getting the more economy version here that doesn't have, but it still just feels more solid in my hand, partly because I'm used to it. Okay, that's the NX7E. Of course, it's cheaper. And then we have an NX8 here, and we actually have a new NX8 that we're about to break out when we run out of memory in our NX10. But for whatever reason, it just keeps pumping them out. So we're just gonna keep using it. All right, so how do you start this thing? You say, read the quick start guide, I guess. All right, so we talked about mode 2. We talked about some switches. There's a stop, there's a run, stop, run. Remember, if you go to stop, when you're flying, guess what happens to your helicopter? It doesn't auto gyro, it goes boom, big explosions and people die.
Well, it stops at least.
You'll probably lose your helicopter.
Yeah.
Okay? There's an appendix. If you need your appendix removed, this is the color you want to look for. Good Lord. So you're looking basically for a solid green on the GPS indicator. Now, this is one thing that's nice about having this big fugly thing sticking out, okay? What's nice about it is you can see the light.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you what, on that BO105, it is very hard to see the light, even though they have those canopy windows. On the Huey, it's even worse. And then on the Bell 206, it's actually kind of nice. You can see in through the glass and you can see it by looking low. Okay, so these are the different conditions. So when you turn this on for the first time, you're gonna be energizing the helicopter by plugging in the battery to this plug right here, which is an XT60 plug, okay? So, which by the way, our charging just wrapped up over here. So yeah, so it's good now. So we can unplug this battery now. By the way, one of my least favorite battery tools is this stupid thing. I take them off every time. In fact, I'm gonna show you how to take it off right now because I hate them so dearly. Get off of there.
It's designed to keep the
wires,
right?
I don't know. I have never needed to do, I've never ever had a problem with that. But a lot of you guys are really not careful with your batteries. I'm pretty careful with my batteries. Let me show you just how careful I am, okay? And knowing me, I'm gonna try to save it.
Yeah, the thing you hate.
I'm gonna throw it away just to prove a point, but you see it didn't want to pop off on me, so I'm gonna get a flat bladed screwdriver. You're supposed to release this little tab here, but I was literally gonna break it just to make a big spectacle of it. Brian Phillips RC spectacle. You can see it's broken now. I did that on purpose because I didn't want to be compelled to save it.
Keep it.
Because I do that.
Here, I'll help you with it.
I have a problem, people.
Yes.
You may have noticed from my absent living room. All right, so that being said, now I don't have that stupid thing in there. Maybe it's sub 250 now. Should we wait again?
Yes, definitely.
Just kidding, folks. By the way, this battery is not light. No, it's, let's just say it's enough more that it's not even close, okay? All right, so this thing here, let's, we're not gonna start this right now, but we are gonna put the battery in, okay? So we'll tip this up. We'll stick it in the hole. Now, one thing that's very nice about this flight controller setup is that despite your worst fears, this thing should have voltage, low voltage return to home, and all sorts of other things, and you're gonna have all that pack voltage, telemetry, and everything you could ever want. You're probably gonna get zero feedback on this, but the flight controller is aware and making decisions. Now, if you decide you wanna change where it comes to home or you wanna shut that crap off, then you can hook up to this USB-C port. Show my hole right here. Yeah, stick it right in there. Yeah, oh yeah, right there. Stick it in, see it? Yeah, there it is. Stick it in there, and then you can download this super, it's definitely not like a dark web looking website at all.
No, of course not.
Except for maybe a little. You might get that feeling at first. And then you can download the Flywing utility, so you can make your changes to the flight controller. We have done it, we've showed it. Was it on the Bell 206?
Nope, it was before that.
It was on another one of the more, the pot and boom.
It might have been that green one that's back there on the counter.
No.
It was the white and blue one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that green one's not even a fly
That's
one.
a Yuzheng.
That's you?
My bad.
Yuzheng? Okay. So guys, look at this. I'm gonna take my balance lead. I'm just gonna stick it where the sun don't shine, which is right here. The sun does not shine right here. But I just want you guys to appreciate right there. There's a gear. Don't stick your balance lead into where the gear is, because I'm gonna tell you this, your gear is gonna be pissed about it when you do that, okay? And then there's also the servo here. You do not want that servo to get all tangled up in this business, okay? And by the way, that thing's gonna get hot. It's gonna get hot, man. And you're probably like, whatever, Brian. I've touched my servos before in my airplane wings. Kids, listen. This is not an airplane. It's a helicopter. It's way hotter. You'll be amazed how hot it is. Camera crew, why are you giving me a look like I'm full of crap? I'm not giving you a look. You were too. Okay, so I'm gonna just put this lid back on, okay? So you see this? Watch this. Yeah, okay. Man, I do not like the way that comes out. Because look, I'm right next to the stinking antennas. Show the people from the other side, camera crew. You see the antenna? You see that? The diversity antenna? Why the heck do they have it going back there? Right where you're gonna be working all the time. I'm pulling this back. Yeah, I'm pulling it back. They put this like weird Velcro thingy on here. It's like that hard Velcro stuff. And they didn't even do a diversity configuration. We were just talking about that. What the heck are they thinking about? They put it in there and kinked it. By the way, the last 28 millimeters of this antenna is what works. It's the active portion of the antenna that is cut, that extra sheath is cut away so that it can maximize the interference, which is what we're trying to do with an antenna. We're picking up interference on purpose. Man, why is this not sticking? Oh, there it is. I found the hole. I found it and I stuck it in. Okay. Does it matter which way I do that? I don't know. I don't think
Usually it does, but you gotta be able to pin it.
No, yeah. I feel like maybe it went the other way.
I think it went the other way, but I guess we'll
But I don't know
find out
why
if it
that
matters.
would matter. Would it? None. Well, it did go quite a bit easier. I don't understand why it would matter what direction I cram it in.
Well,
Is it really that big of a deal if I stick it in the wrong hole?
There's a preference, yeah. It doesn't go
I don't
both
know.
ways.
It seems like it's there.
I mean, it seems like it, but it's not.
You're saying there's a problem? Okay. I don't know. It's like that. The more you know comes to mind. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at this length. Somebody okay, so this is what I don't quite understand, right? Should I have gone below maybe? Because I feel like I couldn't make it out below. It's tight here. There's like no clearance. Well, I could go out the middle. But then you're right in there up in the business of the servo.
It seems hard on the lead.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so, but guys, it's gonna reach. That's the important part.
It will.
You're just gonna stick it where the sun don't shine and just cram it in, okay? All right, so now that we have gotten all those important details out of the way, I just wanna point out the fact that this antenna is not in a diversity configuration. It is in the, they're parallel. That's the absolute worst way you could do that. You want those to be 90 degrees of each other. And yet I don't really think it's probably something I'm gonna worry about too much, because I think what they were trying to do is trying to feed it through here so that it was kind of at like a 90-ish degree. It's more like a 45-degree angle. But I just do not like that being right next to the active part. Not because of the potential for eddy currents in here. I'm not worried about that crap. I am worried about, because it's direct current, it's not AC, okay? So you can be very limited amount of eddy currents there. If you don't know what eddy currents are, I'm not even gonna give you the thumb test. Hold on, we should tell. Eddy, she gave me the look, so I got eddy currents. The direction of electron flow would be simulated by my thumb. So imagine a rope or a string or a cable, probably a cable. The eddy currents go around like this. You're welcome, camera crew.
Okay.
Why did I tell that? Because I was just talking about eddy currents, interference. It's RF interference. Interference.
I believe you.
Okay. All right, so when I'm ready to plug this in, I'm gonna plug this in. And then what's gonna happen? Is it's gonna spring to life and all hell's gonna break loose? This thing's gonna spin off my counter and hit my dog?
Well, we don't have one of those.
Well,
so
that's
that
true. Maybe you could hit a cat. Be a viable option.
Specifically.
So if we did that right now, what would happen is this would start flashing and it would be like, no soup for you, because I don't think we're gonna get good GPS connection inside the building. Tricky. Now there are tricks to get around that if you wanna fly this indoors, okay? But I'm not gonna do it right here, right now.
No.
Okay? Because I don't trust myself on this being the first flight. Okay. Starting the transmitter. Hold the two power buttons at the same time. Hold the two power buttons at the same time.
Well, I mean, we almost made it to step one. Okay.
That one. Goodness gracious. Please flip the motor run switch to the top position. Motor off action. Then turn the mode to GPS. P-hold. P-hold.
Okay, so.
So what did they say?
Stop. Flip it to stop.
Stop.
No, the
stop.
The F switch.
Oh,
I don't know what that's
stop.
in my book.
Okay.
Then GPS.
GPS center. Okay. And then P-hold.
Okay.
P-hold. Is that the? I don't know.
That's not a thing.
It's not like this. Listen, stop acting like this thing could rip my head off.
Do you want me to
violently.
Do you want me to read it to you?
It would probably work better.
Probably would.
Okay, helicopter power. Please insert the battery into the abdomen of the helicopter. The abdomen where all batteries go to die. Please be sure that the battery strap is securely fastened. Connect the yellow plug of the battery to the helicopter.
I already read you this part.
Keep the helicopter stationary after the initializing movement of the swash plate. Okay. 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 And then we're going to do this thing. Guys, now remember, this is an Unbox build radio setup, so we're going through the entire process painstakingly so that you don't have to, okay? If you want to help support us in return, buy the things from the links when you decide to spend, instead of paying your mortgage, buying a helicopter. Okay, check it out. Links are in the video description below. You will help support Brian Phillips RC so I can do crazy things like build hangars. Okay, all right, here we go. GPS mode unlock, take off, take mode 2 as an example. What the heck? Who writes this crap? Okay, turn the transmitter motor run switch to stop position. Dial mode switch to GPS. And H1 light is flashing yellow. P-hop!
Can I read these to you?
What?
It's gonna take forever.
There's all these weird gaps. I'm just trying to make it emphasize the truth. P-hold. P-hold? P-hold?
You're in P hold right now.
Yeah, I know, but why do they keep... Oh, P-hold is there. Oh, oh, oh. Look, P-hold. Oh, the emission voltage. There's a voltage to that stuff? The emissions? Okay. All right, coming back here. All right. So, move the helicopter to outdoor open environment without trees and buildings. Okay, so we're gonna not do either of those things.
Power.
And power. Power on to wait for the GPS satellite signal search. Okay, so this is where we're talking about the colors, okay? So those colors here, if you guys didn't remember, it's right here. So they're gonna start like with some sort of splashing status. When it gets to a green solid, that means you're good to arm, okay? Now, if you don't get to that, it won't let you start the heli if everything works right. But what do we do to vehicles that we have not vetted?
We don't trust them.
We don't. Okay. So I have 10 of these.
Yep.
I have 8 of these and 2 of these, okay? I'm not gonna let you see my feet, that's weird. All right, so number 3, after waiting for a few minutes, the light changes from flashing yellow to solid green. The helicopter was positioned successfully. Okay, so if you position it successfully, it'll go green. They give you a green little picture there, it's pretty cool. Unlock as shown in the figure for about 5 seconds until the H1 flight controller flashes green light, okay? So it's gonna be like this. Boop. Okay, all right? Then, after 5, while the green light is flashing, then turn the stop switch to run. Boop. Okay? Then repeat the unlock procedure.
Again? So sticks down and out again?
No. And when the helicopter rotor head speed is stable, push the throttle stick upward to take off and rise the helicopter above the ground. Then release the throttle stick and you can hover appropriately. Oh yeah, here's a note. This is a footnote, guys. Do not stop the motor during flight. Weird. Otherwise, the helicopter will crash. Yes, unless there are special circumstances, e.g., the example, the helicopter may collide with a crowd. It is necessary to stop the motor urgently to minimize the injury. Yeah, the helicopter will not be able to take off in case of serious low power alarm, okay? After starting the helicopter motor, the blade will rotate at high speed, which is dangerous. The operator shall keep a certain distance from the helicopter and keep the helicopter away from crowd, buildings, trees, or other obstructions to avoid collision. After landing, please turn off the helicopter, power first, and then the transmitter. What they mean is unplug the power to the helicopter before you de-energize your transmitter. In most cases, except for occasionally on small little toy grade style helicopters, you always start by controlling the controller. Get it turned on, get it working, make sure things are set to stop, 3D, whatever it is. I'm back to stop, by the way, okay? Just so I don't forget, okay? All joking aside. Always, always, before you plug in your aircraft, have your transmitter on, unless instructed otherwise by the manufacturer. And there are a few beginner planes and helicopters that don't do that, and it irritates me to death and makes me want to fold a manual and send it back to them. All right, back to the point. So then we unlock takeoff in 3D mode. Take mode 2 as example. Dial the motor run switch to stop position. Dial the mode switch to 3. Didn't we already do that?
No, this is to do it 3D instead of GPS.
Oh, okay, so to do 3D. So like if you can't get a GPS lock, then you would go to 3D and you could do the same.
Or you don't want the GPS returned to home.
Right, exactly, okay? But I want home mode. Homey mode. If you need to use the home mode, 1 key to return low power return, both of them, okay? Please make sure the GPS satellite signal is good before takeoff and there are no buildings or trees around. Now this is something we should talk about. The helicopter is gonna fly to a certain altitude, then it's gonna allow you to, we take off here, we go over to the pond, we lose 25 feet of elevation to get to the pond. Well, 18 feet of elevation to get to the top of the water level. So if we're flying at the water level and we took off from the regular runway, not the damn runway, there's not as big of a disparity there, then what will happen is the helicopter will fly based on the coordinates of its takeoff point past a certain threshold, and then it'll go in a straight line to home. So if I happen to be flying in our forest, you have to be Johnny on the spot to cancel the return to home quickly in the event it would try to start taking off. And so for that reason, we're usually real cautious on our first flights because we don't want the thing to go up into a tree and like blow up in a million pieces, okay?
Yeah.
All joking aside. All right, so home mode. So start smart return. Dial the switch to home, the helicopter will return automatically. Then dial to GPS mode to terminate return flight. So that's what I was talking about. Like if it started going home, then I would just go to GPS quick, okay? Right? Low power return. When the power system judges the current power is low, it will auto return and land. You could change the setting where it makes that decision using the USB-C to USB-A cable we talked about. By the way, use your own cable if you've got one, but you have to go to that shady website from Flywing and get it. We'll have to talk to them about that if they ask our opinion. You'd be like, hey, maybe you could just like put this somewhere where it doesn't seem like the dark web, where I'm like, have somebody trying to like steal my kidney after I'm done. Okay, so anyway, they haven't stolen them yet, by the way, which is pretty good. Yeah, well, there's always tomorrow. Please ensure the current distance of the helicopter conforms to the range of the helicopter's remaining power. Okay, so in other words, if you're flying a long ways away from where you took off, that's where you need to be seriously careful because if you haven't maintained enough battery to get to home, then it might cause a problem. But I'm gonna just tell you this, by default, the Flywing software is set to like 3.6 volts, and this is a relatively big battery. The biggest ones we've had was with the BO105. I think they were 4,000 milliamp, 30C packs, very similar to what we had here. And we were getting like huge flight times on them, which is pretty cool. And by the way, a little tidbit, my truck, when I was on vacation for work, it's a Chevy Silverado 3/4 ton pickup. And I needed to jump start it. And so I used my helicopter battery to jump start it. Yes. I mean, granted, it was just over the edge and not one to click. So come back over here. Story time with Brian Folds. Sorry. All right, so smart return. When returning low power, the helicopter will automatically rise 15 meters. Okay, yep. So 15 meters, so 45 feet. And then return, which isn't controlled by the operator. If there's obstacles like trees or building on the way back, the auto flight needs to be terminated. But just remember, the other thing is it's setting its altitude from the takeoff zone. Not like if you fly down the side of a cliff or something like that, it's gonna go up a long ways, but you don't wanna be the guy that trusted the system and then got burned. So just remember how to switch into GPS, okay? If it starts doing something you don't like, away from home, so you can go 3D and then cancel and then come back to GPS or to home, okay? If you go to home, it's gonna start flying to home, just so you know. Remember, this is not a spring return switch here, okay? So if you go to 3D, it's gonna be in 3D until you switch back, okay? All right, so ways to stop low power. If you want to stop the low power return, please flip the switch to home and then flip the switch to GPS. You can manually control the helicopter after landing manually. And then during that period, the helicopter will not return. So you guys see what just happened there? They're showing you what you can do. I don't quite understand that drawing. Do you?
Well, if you want to cancel the low power return.
Right. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is this. If you don't trust it going home right now because you're not sure you got clearances, just switch to 3D, come back in, take control, go to where you could get altitude. What we had happen was with this Venom. Was it the Venom that did it?
The Gooski.
It was a Gooski. It was this one.
Yes, it was that one.
That's a GPS heli drone too. Well, wait, is that?
No, that's the Yuzhang Apache.
No, but we had one that was a smaller version. Maybe it was that one. No, it was the Apache. That's right. It did not gain enough altitude to make me comfortable that it was going to go over the garage. We were flying down by one of our docks, and when it came home, it went up like 10 meters from where we were using an optical flow sensor, I think, and not necessarily GPS. And so it didn't go high enough. And so I had to cancel it. And I like ran after it because I didn't want to crash it. And that Apache was really cool too, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do we not have that out? Who the heck runs this house?
Space.
Okay, all right. So we're back to the compass calibration. Yeah, just if you want to do a compass calibration, go ahead and read this. Why don't you just like sit still for a sec? Okay, just read that and do that thing. I'm not going to do it unless I need it. One key aerobatic. Okay, this is important. One key to normal invert flight. Has designed one key normal invert mode for users. In inverted mode, GPS can still fly at fixed point and fixed altitude, providing users with good acrobatic training platform in 3D mode flight. This function is invalid. This function only works in GPS self-stabilized mode. That was the most confusing sentence ever.
Okay.
I think what they're saying is that when you go to the one key normal / inverted flight, okay, which appears to be right here. No, theirs says, look where they're showing it. SWB? What? Did they take that from another transmitter now? They're showing the white transmitter. What the heck? Okay.
Well, it's a Flywing controller. So it's a Flywing controller in a radio link transmitter. Just grab a white one.
Okay, guys. They're showing this transmitter, okay? You can tell because this is the one that comes in a lot of, like the Bell 206, okay?
Yeah.
That's why they said press the power buttons,
right?
Okay. Well, to be honest with you, this is probably a superior transmitter on a lot of different levels. But at the same time, I really like this one. I've gotten used to it. It's been a good transmitter. I don't use a slider, so I don't care for that. This is light. It works really good. The gimbals have never given me a problem. So I gotta say, I'm happy with this transmitter. I kind of wish it was the same one. But that being said, guess what? You could use your Spectrum transmitter because all you need is to set up your transmitter and do all the right things with all the right stuff. I'm not gonna show you how to do it because I don't know fully how to do it, but you should be able to use whatever protocol you really want, provided you have enough channels to support all the features. And one of the most important features is setting the modes for home versus GPS versus 3D. Okay, so they're showing SWB, I don't know. When using this function, the helicopter will switch normal according to the position. Oh, geez.
But if we don't even know what switch that is.
I know. And then they're saying the expert reverse mode has been set in the factory to align 470.
Or is that 4701?
No, I don't know what that means. This function is a test function due to the different performance and power of each helicopter. The rolling effect will be slightly different by default in the software. Okay, if the user options, okay, whatever, 10 meters above the ground, the user shall bear the adverse effects and consequences caused by the use of this function. So they're talking about exclamation point. Where is that? They're talking about all this in general?
Yeah, I think so.
All I'm going to tell you is this. The one key aerobatics is pretty cool because some of these things that the helicopters do are pretty impressive, okay? Do I care as a user? Not really at all, not even a little, but I know that it can be done, which is pretty cool. I just want to be able to come out of the fully automatic leveling mode if I wanted to do it. Now, there's also normal mode 0 and 8, so the helicopter will fly in. I don't know if it's going to spin like this, like it's trying to film somebody, you know, or if it's going to just go in a circle. We've had them do both. Mm-hmm. But then the figure 8 should be like, you know, it's going to go in a figure 8. And that's pretty neat because you can go in a holding pattern and you can just watch a helicopter fly, which is pretty cool. But you have to be a certain height for those things to work. Okay, so just remember that. Expert inverted mode. Okay, this mode is suitable for 3D stunt training operations and can be used for basic hovering operations of 3D stunt assist by GPS. It needs to be set in the parameter adjustment software. When the reverse flight switch is turned on, the helicopter will automatically roll to inverted flight and hover at fixed point by GPS. At this time, the operation mode of the helicopter is the same as that of a 3D stunt. Push the throttle stick. What they're trying to say is that in order to fly upside down in a normal helicopter, you'd flip upside down and your controls are quite literally exactly what they were before. So to go up, you would actually pull down on the collective, which would create a, like reverse upside down thrust, okay? So you'd be like upside down and it would be like blowing air down, so it would stay at the spot, and you can actually do that, right? Then you can flip it over. You're always in full command and control in a 3D helicopter, but this thing has aids that are built in with the flight controller that will actually flip it upside down, and then the controls become opposite. So you can fly it like a normal helicopter. It'll be sitting there chilling upside down and you can fly just like it's a normal helicopter. It's freaky-dee, by the way. When you're in charge of it and you're flying that thing, it's kind of scary to me. So one of my biggest issues with this manual so far is this. This says switch B. Maybe they mean B like this. And if they mean B like this, it'd be kind of nice if it showed, see it says normal and invert? If you want to switch normal flight, you need to climb more 10 meters above the ground. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, they're suggesting to use a 4S battery. Otherwise you may not have enough thrust. Simple inverted and expert inverted. Simple inverted mode and expert inverted. So the simple mode is suitable for novice, can quickly experience the fun of reverse, they mean upside down flight. It needs to be set in the parameter adjustment software from the dark web. When the reverse flight switch is turned on, the helicopter will automatically roll to inverted flight and hover at a fixed point by GPS. At this time, the user can operate. The user's operation mode is the same as that of forward flight, meaning it's like I was just describing.
Yeah.
So that's the beginner mode. The expert mode has to be turned on. Auto invert is on with this little switch here. Okay, so you have to have a PC too. I don't know if this will run on a Mac.
I'm not sure either. I don't remember.
So then they go into the compass calibration, which you already kind of talked about briefly. And you're probably thinking to yourself, good Lord, that doesn't seem like a very quick start. You got to remember, we're trying to teach people things about stuff, okay? And when we got to teach you things about stuff, it takes time. So we don't want to shortchange anybody who needs help. And that's why we go through the process of talking about chargers, the most boring part of this thing that you must absolutely understand in order to do it, which is why we say we're going to help get you out of the chair and into the air, AKA we're going to talk you into the function of purchasing this from the links in the video description below. And that's how we make a buck, so that we can help you guys and we can expand this RC endeavor, or whatever you want to call it, that we're doing, and building this aerodrome, and obviously living the dreams that my wife has always had, which is obviously filming RC content at all god-awful hours of the day, and then going outside in thunderstorms and tornadoes and
Negative temperatures.
winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and reading Chinese warns. These are the things. She knew what she was getting into when she married me.
Yeah.
Right?
I did not.
Probably should have.
I should have.
But anyway, at the end of the day, we do this because I love aviation and my wife loves me. So she takes care of me and I appreciate that, and that's really good of her to do that. And I think more wives could be like my wife and more husbands would be happy. So I'm pretty lucky in that regard. But also, I gotta say, these things can be super rewarding, but also incredibly frustrating. And there's things that are more frustrating than spending $1,300 or $1,400 on a helicopter and then 30 seconds later, that's a big problem for most people. So we want you guys to understand that what we're doing here on this channel is not just look how perfect it is. It is look how terrible the manual is, and look how they don't tell us what button to switch for inverted flight. It's kind of a big one. These are the types of things that we point out. They're minor, admittedly. We can work through them, and we'll work through them together on this channel on Brian Phillips RC, because we don't leave people high and dry. We teach you how to stay high and dry if you're driving an aircraft over water. Except for when it's the Cessna 182.
Right.
Sometimes I land in the water. But we're gonna teach you how to dry out your ESC so you can keep flying after that. And if you wanna see that, obviously check out the playlist for the Cessna 182, which is what leads me to my next point, and that is, we're here to help you guys have the best possible experience because everybody has limited budgets, both time and money, okay? So if you wanna get the best out of your RC experience, you can go to the other guys who say everything is perfect because they got it for free. We also got it for free, and we'll tell you how bad it is. We don't really care about that. We just want the hobby to grow. We want these things to be better, more readily available. We want them to be as good as they can be. And by the way, I love these things. They are awesome. And dollars to donuts, I gotta say, this is probably the most beautiful helicopter that we have right now. And we have a lot of really good helicopters. Really? This is by far the most detailed. I mean, we've got like the Apache was super good looking. The Blackhawks, the UH, the Venom. I mean, that Venom is gorgeous.
Yeah. Most
the Bell
detailed,
206.
Yes.
But I'm gonna say this, it's made of metal, okay?
Yes.
It's made of aluminum and steel. And it's like, I don't know how that's gonna play into the flight characteristics. I tend to think it's gonna be a waste of weight. But I gotta say, we have like this is plastic here, okay? But most of the parts on this model are metal. Carbon fiber, plastic. This is probably just plastic. Looks like they probably got metal reinforcement in here, I'm guessing. But this is probably one of the nicest models that we've ever done that is a helicopter, okay? We have done helicopters that are pretty expensive, but this is still more expensive than those. Because I think the M4 Max is the most expensive helicopter we did after this. So now those GPS heli drones are in a different world, okay, guys? Let's not pretend GPS heli drones are GPS heli drones, and then everything else is over here. If it's a GPS heli drone, it's gonna cost hundreds more because you got the GPS system involved. Yep. Okay, if you don't wanna have the GPS system involved, you can still fly this, and you can put a $200 Spectrum controller in it and actually have a pretty good experience and have a really nice flying, safe equipped, AS3X equipped, now AS3X Plus. I don't even know if Plus matters on the helicopters.
I don't know.
We haven't done one yet. I don't even know if it matters. So, but at the end of the day, our point is this. We want you guys to get some real value from watching these long form videos. They are long, but we hope we're bringing answers to you. And we hear this all the time from feedback in the comments, through Patreon, through different emails and support that we hear back from you guys, that you're hearing answers to the questions that you had, that you weren't finding in other places. We hope that we can keep that up and try to avoid the concept of just completely beating a dead horse. It's hard to strike the balance, admittedly, because a lot of people that look at a helicopter like this think, oh, I should be able to fly that. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, you shouldn't be able to if you're saying something like that, because I'm telling you, the heli pilots are incredible. I mean, they're some of the best pilots that you'll ever meet. And if you can fly a helicopter, you can pretty much fly any plane that we fly. You just need space, and it is a little bit different skill, but you can pretty much do it, okay? If you're flying helicopters without flight controllers, you are more skilled than me by a long shot, okay? I say that both out of respect for a skill that I don't have that I would like to have and I'm working toward, but also from a standpoint of be realistic. This is pretty expensive. I don't want you to fail, because what we try desperately on this channel is to get people back in the hobby, to get people into the hobby, and to stop people from being a one and done. A one and done will be somebody that spends $1,400 on a helicopter crashes. I guarantee you're gonna quit if you do. Unless you just got, like I said, just a lot of money sitting around to burn. Most people are gonna walk away at that, okay? So this is high risk if you're brand new. What I would suggest is if you are brand new to the hobby and you just want something that you can enjoy, get into it for less. Enjoy the process of working through the ranks from something like this. Is gonna set you back less than $100 shipped.
Yep.
This is a good experience. I guarantee you'll have a good experience with this. Even if the thing flies into your ceiling and breaks in 10 pieces, you can walk away from that and still find success later. Or, you know, $150. Some people have had that happen with these. We had a good experience with ours. And then, you know, you get into this middle ground where you've got these relatively expensive, this is a Gooski product, a competitor brand. I'm sure they love us showing this right here. But this thing is very expensive. Beautiful tail rotor, I must say. But I mean, it's like literally a model, okay? This is beautiful. It is equally beautiful in my brain to this, but yet it's all made of plastic and it's really just cheap and carbon fiber inside. It's got lights, it's got a lot of technology. This is not a GPS heli drone, okay? But it is still easy to fly. We've got, does this one have, no, I don't even think, it doesn't have an optical flow sensor. It doesn't? I don't think so. It's got a different style. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of technology crammed into these small packages, and they are dang gorgeous. I've been saying for years that I want scale detailed helicopters that are easy to fly. We're finally getting them, okay? So good on Flywing, good on Starlink kit. Starlink kit. Sterling kit.
And Radiolink and
Radiolink. Thank you for putting together some stuff like this. Now, that's not to say that we're not getting some of it from Blade and Spectrum and Horizon and, you know, these other competitive brands like the Buddy RCs of the world that are bringing us the OMP Hobbies, Sunny Sky. I mean, there's a lot of really good brands that are doing good things. But at the end of the day, how do we help everybody win? By helping make people that make good decisions and they don't end up quitting over bad decisions. Because, you know, you could be a good pilot and still make a mistake and crash this. You'll be able to walk away from it. But if you make all the right decisions and you still fail, you're gonna think, I can't do it. It feels insurmountable. I know what it's like. I don't want you guys to be in that situation. We're gonna help get you a better way. Okay, so if you wanna know that better way, then you go over to brianphillipsrc.com or bprc.me, it's our short link, and you could check out beginner planes. You can get started with something that's easy to fly, that's gonna be economical. You could scale it to your budget, however big you wanna go, however small you wanna go. We're gonna help get you where you wanna be, okay? It does not happen overnight, no matter how skilled you think you are. If you fly full scale and you're like, hey, by virtue of being a pilot that flies Airbus 320s all day long for UPS, I should be able to fly this. No, you can't. It's a different skill, okay? You'll think, and you probably have a leg up on people that don't fly Airbuses.
Yeah.
But just because you fly your J3 Cub or your Cessna 172, it's a different skill, folks. And if you're a pilot, you probably appreciate that already. If you fly real full-scale helis, you're gonna have a leg up on an unskilled general public type of person. But this is muscle memory. This is a different skill, okay? But get this. Was it the Huey or the Bell 206 that your dad flew?
The Bell 206.
I took the thing off, meaning I pressed a few buttons and it took off on its own, and I let my father-in-law fly this. It was a Bell 206. Mm-hmm. He doesn't drive radio-controlled cars, and he was in command of that thing. Now, was I there to spot him? Was I there to help make sure that things would be safe? Were we compliant? Yes, I'm not gonna go into all the details there, but at the end of the day, you too can probably fly this and not know how to fly a helicopter. But the best way to learn to fly a helicopter is not with this style. GPS heli drones are not the best way to learn to fly. They are the best way to do it when you don't know how. And that's a different thing, okay? We've got helicopters over there, like that Blade 360, where you got safe auto leveling, and it's very much like flying. And when you flip out of it, you are immediately in full control, but it's easier to fly, in my opinion, than any of the Flywing lineup in 3D mode, okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm not just saying that because I'm trying to talk you out of this. This is expensive. That's gonna talk most of you out of it anyway. But I am trying to talk you into flying and getting out of the chair and into the air. Because this has been a long unbox for what should not be a long content. We just want to bring real value, okay? I'm so disgusted by the stuff I see on YouTube these days where everybody's just like squishing the suspension like, oh wow, that makes it. I'm gonna buy it now because there's a suspension on it. No. I want to know that the Chinese aren't lying to me, because look at the manuals. You know, all of the websites are going to make these things look like the best things in sliced bread. We'll show you what it really does. Okay. All right. Hopefully we answered all your questions. There's a lot to unwrap in a big, expensive heli like this. We want to give you guys the best crack at success, and we hope we've done that. If we did help you even a little bit way and you haven't fallen asleep 2 or 3 times yet, then smash the like button on the way out. Or if you're using Brian Phillips RC to help you fall asleep, then smash the like button when you wake up at work. And we'll be here for you to help with your insomnia solutions. Have I missed anything, Camera Crew? I feel like I've covered everything.
I don't think you possibly could have missed anything.
I don't think I possibly could have either. So, good helicopter, I hope. We'll see. Complaints. Case, not happy with the case. I feel like that should be a little bit more like, you know, not accidentally fall opened when you're opening it out of the box. And the battery lid is kind of like, not crazy about that. But beyond that, I would say the thing looks fantastic. I just hope it flies well. Manual was as expected. The Flywing ones that we've done in the past have been janky at best.
Yeah.
But they're not the worst manuals we've had. That actually, there was sentence structure, beginning and ending, and there was
It's
function.
not always super clear translation.
Right. It was actually good English, but
bad.
it just didn't help us understand what we were trying to understand. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why you're going to be here. We'll help you understand. All right. Also, tail boom, beautiful. Love the belt-driven system. The belt is a little bit rinky-dink small for how robust this system is. Look how small that belt is.
Oh.
We got a lot bigger belts on smaller helicopters, by the way. I'm not saying that's a problem, but I'm just saying it seems a little bit, you know, like, why is it so small? Because there's teeth on that gear, and that's what transfers, you know, so that it's very solid, okay? Also, if I had to work on this thing, there's gonna be a lot of work getting things apart. Not uncommon on helicopters, but the exploded view diagrams are gonna really help with that. I do not want to work on this helicopter before I fly it. I wanna take it out, I wanna fly it. It's ready to fly, it should be ready to fly-ish. So it was bad enough getting the battery out. Which I kind of forgot about that by now. I told you we would. All right, guys, comments, questions, leave them below. Don't forget, if you're gonna buy this thing, go to the links, buy it from the links. All you do is you go over there, they know that we sent you, they send us small commissions if you do end up buying one, if we help close the deal in any way. That's how you can get us taken care of financially. Also, super thanks, YouTube members, both appreciated right here on this platform on YouTube, or Patreon if you prefer that. One little small benefit, we don't talk about it a lot because we don't want you guys overseas to have to pay that, is that there is a little bit easier access to me for comments because there's just a smaller pool of you. What do we have to, like 70 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
So it's really cool. And by the way, you know, life's things change. People have things that happen to them, and you know, because they've done things. Sometimes things happen because you didn't do things. Sometimes they happen just because they happened. And so we just had a supporter that had to stop, and so he's a longtime supporter, so we're bummed about that. But we had a really good little exit interview, which was really kind of handy.
Yeah.
And good friends, it's not about the dollars and cents, guys. It's about the hobby. It's about the growth. I mean, obviously we're doing big stuff here, and it really does help, and it's a little bit from everybody makes and goes a long ways. I'm just telling you that, guys. You may not think that $4 or $5 or $3 or whatever you think it's inconsequential, but it's a volume thing, okay? It all adds up. It's really working, okay? So we really appreciate that, but guys, you gotta take care of your family first. You gotta take care of your basic needs first. We completely understand it, and everybody's going through stages of life. We get it. We've been there. We've been young. We've been broke. We've worked our tails off to get where we are. You know, it doesn't always last forever. Stuff comes up, okay? We get it. We just want to let you guys know, and that's for our supporter. All right, that being said, beautiful, can't believe, I don't even know how to say this, JCZK 300C, okay, whatever that is.
Yep, that thing.
The Schweizer.
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 You can't say it wrong because then I can't remember.
Schweizer. Okay. Sorry, camera crew. All right. Beautiful helicopter. Get one. Check it out. Links in the video description below. And if you didn't already see the flight, obviously our flights at the beginning of these videos, sometimes they're split up into 2 videos. But with helicopters, we try to kind of keep them together because they just sort of go together that way. But if you guys like the long format content, don't forget, we're at a pretty severe disadvantage against all the people that just do shorts all the time. We do long format content, and that's what we do. So if you like this type of content, make sure that you watch stuff. Make sure you see, every once in a while, leave the video play for like 3 or 4 hours, which is crazy, I know.
Come back for the intermission, finish the rest of it.
That's right. But it does help because we're up against people that are doing like 30-second clips, and we're doing 3-hour videos. Who has 3 hours to watch? You do. All right, so speaking of 3 hours to watch, Stay tuned, there's so much more right around the corner. In fact, it's all new, brand new, and we're super excited. We've got not one, but two sitting there waiting. So we're super excited to bring those to you, and we have quite a bit in the pipeline, but I can't tell you about it yet. And I'm super excited to see it myself, just like I was super excited to see this myself. So a little bit late to the party on this. Thanks for waiting until you see it from your favorite RC enthusiast, Brian Phillips RC. Come back for more.